players and the captains coming together in the middle of the ground, and now the toss of the coin.
Thanks, boys. And Bobby Hill and Brady Maynard win the toss. And speaking of Isaac Rankin pre-game, he's approaching 100 games. And this is only the 6th time he's been here at the MCG through the Gold Coast Suns and now the Adelaide Crows. Now, some of the boots on display, designed and painted by a range of artists from the Barclay Regional Arts Centre in Tennant Creek. It's just some fantastic coloured boots out there. It was great to see Craig McRae had his boots painted up as well. So a shout out to everybody up there in Tennant Creek that has been involved, and there's some very sharp wheels out there, Gary.
That's magnificent. Back in our day, we got 2 pairs and that was it. You couldn't send a pair off to get painted, otherwise you wouldn't have a pair for training. No, love it. It's all part of what's a big couple of weeks in the Sir Doug Nicholls round. What are you doing with Nick Dacos, Geordie?
I think the watch has to be centre forward, so whether they send someone to him straight away or not, it is the damage that he's doing centre forward. I mean, he'll start in the middle of the ground, as we see the 2 sides going out right now. So, I mean, if you're going to have some, I like a Keys run with. I know he hasn't done all that much, or even a Neil Bullen who can do it as well. A really disciplined type of player.
Other side of the coin, Bergman went to Dawson, what was a great surprise last week, and he did a fantastic job. Jordan Dawson's had a great year. He's in the middle of the ground. They haven't squared off yet. That can take a minute or 2, but when they do, we might be able to work it out. It is a big day. It's a big afternoon. We're going to find out about some sides. I've got a couple of sides here by the end of this game, Harry. Can't wait.
And there is Peatling standing beside Nick Dacos. Big challenge, big contest. MCG traditional time slot. Cool conditions. Collingwood 7-2. Adelaide 6-3. Sir Doug Nicholls round. Let's get things underway. The mighty MCG. Cameron O'Brien will set the tone early. No one really wins the toss. Collingwood sent it clear and straight off the ground. A deep ball. Butts will track it back towards the line. He's happy to take it across.
Oh, yeah. He tried too hard to keep it in. Bo McCreary in the centre bounce gets the first clearance. So just mixing it up a little bit is Craig McRae.
Well, it does look like Alex Neil-Bullen has come up onto Nick Dacos at the moment from a half-forward position.
Might check back in the side after a week out, side bottom. Slick hands. And go to Elliott off 6 last week, giving up ground. Quaynor. Now Allen. Dangerous ball towards the top of the square, just floating back and taking a simple mark as the skipper.
So just with that particular matchup, Alex Neil-Bullen, one of the strengths is his endurance. So do they try and get him the other way?
Fogarty strong in the air, tries the one hand, can't quite bring it to ground. Slight fumble over the top of the footy was Houston. And again, Adelaide set up well behind the ball.
Neil-Bullen went to the contest and ran off Dacos, who stayed behind. He's a little bit sore, to be honest, and then Mitch Hinge come and grabbed him, so it's going to be a team effort, I think, on Nick Dacos.
So a couple of intercepts early from Dawson as Adelaide press forward for the first time. Houston, Walker, high up and under, inside 50. Frampton tapping back into the corridor, dangerous towards Nankervis, stands up and ripped off the footy.
Yeah, he had a few options too, running past Nankervis, just couldn't get his arms free from the tackle. And
Edward Allen, the recipient of the free.
Yeah, and just the last on that Neil-Bullen Dacos. As soon as he goes centre forward, Neil-Bullen's handing him over.
Yeah, Michael Andy's got him at the moment, so he's the deepest forward, Nick Dacos, right now.
Houston to the wing. Keen off that magnificent mark in the showdown that'll go down in the history of that little affair. Standing up strong. Pumps it inside 50. Full thought, first look at him, but Jeremy Howe floats across as he so often does.
Jeremy Elliott working hard. It's a good run.
And the running is rewarded. Elliott, defensive point of the square.
Generally conservative out the back half, Collingwood.
Kick out wide. Now Curvis gets a hand to it. Rankin, who had that explosive final term last week.
Just numbered off really well, Collingwood here.
Just takes a bit off the kick towards Walker. Houston does well to bring it to ground level.
I think we'll see this type of football in the early part of this game. We've spoken about the slippery conditions, so both sides, I think, will be willing to go a little bit longer and less handball chain in the early part of this game. They don't want shallow turnovers. We're speaking about the strength of both sides is to go back the other way when they can cause a turnover. We expect both sides just to feel each other out at the start.
Shallow throw. Oh, O'Brien nearly slips over on the footy. That could have been nasty.
So at the other end, you got Frampton's gone to the big fella Riley Thilthorpe, which we thought. Jeremy Howe grabs Fogarty, and Braden Maynard's taken Taylor Walker.
Crisp, stripped to the footy. He's got back up. Butts stands over the top of it. Just to pick it up, but only as far as Nick Dacos. He's got 4 crows around him. Somehow gets it to Crisp. That was magnificent. Butts again in the play. Peatling by hand. And now back to Dawson. Looks for O'Brien, gets a hand to it. Runs away from Allen. Uses the body. Quaynor will track it back. He's got Allen there in support. Goes all the way back to the standing skipper Maynard. Off the instep. Wobbling, dangerous ball. Clears everyone. Elliott picks it up. First real opportunity going forward for the Pies. Looks to measure one into the pocket. And then hits Tim Membry.
Good composure. Didn't blaze away. They were outnumbered really deep. So it was 3v2 if he had gone long.
Membry didn't look comfortable with the distance. Laps marking because they've got it to the long kicking Houston. Who'll play on Houston. He's a beautiful long kick of the footy. Don't give Houston any room.
It's a great call. They made a couple of mistakes here, Geordie. First of all, not awake to the fact that Houston slid down off his half-back mark, which he's prone to do. But once he's taken the mark here, you have a look at the Adelaide Crows players that back off the mark. So no one stands the mark. And then Houston's able to go forward and kick the goal. So really great heads-up play from Elliott. Look here. So that's, I think that's Nan Curvis, which just backs off and doesn't stand the mark. Goal as a result.
You see Dacos being stepped on, so he's limping for a little bit. So we're trying to work out what has happened. That was what has happened. I think when you come up against a Collingwood side who are, who are really confident in their game, you have to concentrate for 120 minutes. As soon as you lapse in concentration, they'll make you pay. I love the composure by Jamie Elliott.
He is a beautiful finisher, Houston, off half-back. Rankin out of the middle, little slider forward. Full thought.
That was Rankin being Nick Dacos at the centre bounce. I don't know whether he saw or not Dacos, but just allowed him to separate too easily. This bloke can thump a ball. We've seen it. He's been in ripping form. And get them enough looks. I think they're going to be putting a really competitive score on the board here, Adelaide.
Goals in every game of the season. 3 or more in 6 of them. 23 for the season. Phil Thorpe. He's a massive kick. There's a touch to the left, but covered the jersey with ease.
I like the composure. Out of the centre bounce as well by Isaac Rankin. The connection forward's going to be important.
Aggressive ball. Really aggressive ball. Maybe a set played along. Received it from Howe. Nick Dacos will look to charge onto it, but he won't keep up with Bobby Hill. Inside 50. Blink of an eye. Full back, full forward, Elliott.
I mean, that is just making decisions based on if you've got the ball or if you don't. So it was on the wing. It was a great kick. It was a great kick in. And then if you look further down the field, the Collingwood players were just on their bikes, made really good contest decisions. The Adelaide players got sucked into the contest and they were made to pay.
Big bag last week for Jamie Elliott. Hooking round the corner. Not quite.
Gee, they've been the number 1 team going boundary out of the defensive 50, and the first kick they get straight down the middle, and they opened up everywhere. Bobby Hill out the back as well. It was a big set play. Unlucky not to score.
Worrell in front of the members. Phil Thorpe, big presence he is. In front of the pack, they just can't move him.
He's a contested marking animal, Howie.
Hinge wobbles it forward. One hand from Dacos, nearly stuck, and then infringes with a high tackle.
So now you've got Fogarty as the deepest if they want to go.
Peatling. Millerer. Sizes the ball inside 50. Favours Howe, who started nicely.
It was a long gun. It was a long matchup. So then Fogarty v Maynard deep. And Tex Walker's not super strong in the air against one of the great aerialists.
Just on that kicking we saw last night, there was a set play on the first kick in, and today we've seen a set play on the first kick in as well.
The hard running Hoskin Elliott. He kicks it off the instep as well. So a few errors by foot early. Allen run right into Millerer. Wobbles the ball forward. Maynard's got front position. Fogarty does well in the contest. Quaynor overruns it. Keys Standing up in the tackle is Fogarty. He's such a big, strong man. Talking about big, strong men, Phil Thorpe overruns it. Houston puts Quano under all sorts of pressure. Walker, free kick, Keys.
Yeah, he got the free kick. I thought he may have let Tex Walker grab the ball running towards goal. I love the harassment in the sort of 30 metres prior to this particular play from Ben Keys. As soon as that turnover...
A small forward was going to get out of the way, Louis.
Yeah, they'll run through him. See there, Tex. Ben Keys able to draw the free kick. This suits the left-footed Ben Keys.
Only Crow to have played 100 consecutive games in the club's history. 116 today. And he doesn't make the distance.
Both of those around Jamie Elliott before, just shallow kicks, weren't they? This will be sent along maybe to the Cox.
He's held out of the contest. Cox arrives late with a fist. Allen started the game nicely. Picked off by Rankin. Hits 50. Isaac Rankin! Something special!
That's what you love. Howie and Geordie, you come along on this Sunday afternoon game and you've got players of the ilk of the Dacos boys, and then you're on the other side of the coin. You know at some stage Isaac Rankin's going to do something, and he's done it at the inside the first 10 minutes of the game. The anticipation to be able to turn the footy over in your front half here is just superb, and he's sweating on it. This puts a little bit of doubt. So Ed Allen is just making his way now and trying to establish himself. He'll be just second-guess himself next time if Isaac Rankin's in the area. That's magnificent.
And that's the challenge, isn't it? As soon as Collingwood go into the handball game, can you come forward and intercept? He started the game well, Isaac Rankin.
Explosive start, as you'd expect, between two top teams. Sligo, Dacos, Houston. There's another hand in as well. This time by Walker. Does well to get it to Dawson, who's happy to split it wide.
He's prepared to be patient in this type of ball movement at Adelaide. They could have gone quick to one-on-ones inside the forward 50. Now there's a lot of congestion.
Riley O'Brien's gone down to compete with Darcy Cameron.
Pulls out the back to Curtin. Goes a spiral!
He thought it went through.
It's clipped the post.
I think it's flicked the back of the post.
It did. But that's the beauty of O'Brien pushing down with Darcy Cameron. You just halve the contest, get the ball to ground, and see if you can win a ground ball inside forward 50. And here's just the flicker. It's just the paddy.
It's a little spiral off the boot of Curtin. Highlights early. O'Brien does well.
Big win this one, Howie. It's a big focus, the Adelaide Crows. They're not going to let Darcy Cameron sit on his own and take marks.
Shoves it inside 50. There's Curtin again, side bottom, takes on the tackle. Frampton gave it quickly to Josh Dacos. Good decision in any situation. Spins it back round the corner. Well done, Cox. Brings the fist. And now Crisp. Bobby Hill's down there as well as Elliott. Elliott's just pushed off it easily in the end. Well played, Michael Annie. The best exit by foot, though, keeps the door open for the Pies and Crisp.
No, he just maintains body contact, Michael Annie. Didn't let Jamie Elliott over the back and was able to repel, albeit with a bit of a shonky kick.
They love Michael Annie. They're trusting him with Jamie Elliott. That gives you some idea of how highly they rate him. Started well, Riley O'Brien.
Yeah, I loved his game last week, Gaz. He really challenges the opposition ruckman, especially in the open spaces.
Up and under. Phil Thorpe trying to get his hands above the tackler successfully. It was Saligo. What do you think, mate, was the question?
Yep. Well, if you're not too convinced, you just give them the benefit of the doubt, don't you? I guess.
Again, look at Adelaide, and they don't want to go inside when they come out of their D50. They do if they win this possession. They look inside Collingwood.
Mark paid to the big Texan.
But Adelaide have closed up this corridor really well, and I may say will keep it pretty basic down the line. I don't think he'll try and bite off too much.
Takes a touch off the kick. My check. Crisp. Inside 50. Hoskin Elliott was brilliant. All we need is the finish. And Hoskin Elliott delivers that.
I like the kick from Cox. You know, you put it in line with goals, so you give your forwards a chance, you give the mids and everyone else around that contest a chance to rope 360 instead of going really wide to the boundary. So you see that kick in direct line with the goals. And then it's just composure, centre forward. First the intercept by Jack Crisp, and then the handball to Hoskin Elliott. With an Adelaide defender that was asleep at the time. Loved it. Long handballs, break the congestion. He was Dan Curvis in that particular part.
What about the Jack Crisp handball?
Yeah.
Just one hand. He gloved the ball in one hand, didn't try and put the other hand on it until it was time to handball. It's magnificent.
I'm not sure where in that contest Dan Curvis thought that they were going to win the ball. That was really poor positioning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was as equally good as it was the hands from Crisp. It was superb.
2-1. Rochelle ripping it out of the middle, sending a ball deep into the path of Walker. Howe just stopped and propped. And then Perryman dishes it forward by hand. Then Curvis looks out towards the line. Ball stays in. Perryman comes a second time. And in front of the Shane Ward stand. Good run, Chris. Nick Dacos. Caught hand in by the Crows. Touch ball. Pendlebury back in the side. And just calm and measure to Frampton. Quaynor takes a bounce. He's got room in front of him to take a second. Ran his measure. Too much on it for Bobby Hill. He likes some space. Can he keep the ball in? Bobby, not quite.
They do look dangerous when they go quick from the back half. No question, the Magpies. And a couple of times they've got their hand in and intercepted. So whether that or not, that's just an awareness thing. But Nick Dacos cut off again halfway down the ground.
Crisps had 5, Dawson 6 for the visitors. The crowd in at the MCG. Pretty early start today. Cox battles. Pendlebury. He eased the ball across to Nick Dacos. Centering ball on the left. It's all about coming.
They're going spare v spare at the moment, so Adelaide just have a spare in their defensive 50, and Collingwood doing the same with Frampton.
They nearly ran into trouble. Off the boot of Saligo. O'Neill provides the fist. Houston, now Allen. Miller's got 2 to beat. Bobby Hill might have infringed.
Didn't need to do it, Howie. I think also the game right now is Adelaide just need to be careful that not getting too close to the contest. Collingwood are really controlling the outside, and Adelaide have been lucky to get a hand in there on a few of occasions, but need to watch their balance.
A lot of ground, but it works on the outer side. Worrell measures it. Quaynor gets in front of Taylor nicely, falls to ground. Keys scoops it up. Laird, Dawson, good chain of hand pass, ends with Walker, another one. Taylor, clever centering kick, and he was got rid of after he got rid of the footy, so in the end the free will go downfield to the man with the ball in the hand.
He's going to mark it anyway, so Isaac Quaynor, he might be disappointed with the free kick, but it was academic in the end, and it was good ball use. These blokes are so important. So offensively, we know how talented they are. We're talking Rochelle and we're talking Rankin when he rests down there as well. They've got to work so hard defensively because Quaynor and Josh Dacos and Houston's ability to rebound deep is pivotal. So you've got to hurt on the other way, and here's a chance.
11 goals for the season. Missed a couple of games with a rib issue from directly in front. That'll do.
I think once again this is the challenge that Adelaide will face today. So that particular play there was really well worked through hand. So you can just see the numbers around the ball. If at any stage they were able to kick that ball, there was 3 Collingwood spares. You see Cox there, you see Josh Dacos. So they had to work it by hand. And then this was just great vision in the middle of the ground. So what you want further up the field, you want the players to stay in their lanes and not collapse over to provide options when the ball comes inside 50. You can see there, Mason Cox is the one that they tried to go around successfully this time.
So that's 11 inside 50s to 4 in favour of the Adelaide Crows here. They lead by a point. So field position is theirs.
Just joining us, Lipinski and Berry are the 2 subs today. It's Thilthorpe now in the middle. Long waltzes through, grabs it on the left. Over the top of Hinge, tracks it back. Cox provides the body. And really well played by Hinge. Won the original ball and took it back and sent it out to Rochelle. Out of wing, Fogarty a little bit too aggressive in the marking contest with Frampton.
Yeah, he just couldn't get around him, could he? Frampton held really good position in front. The kick was falling short. It was really only Fogarty's chance to get to the ball. Free kick. Jeremy Howe was coming off his man, which was a brave decision as well.
Premiership player, Billy Frampton. And really tying the ball moving forward. That's a good mark. An impressive young player.
That's their 6th mark from opposition kicks. So defending behind the ball really well, the Crows.
Left-footed. This time he gets front position. He can't reel it in. Fogarty. And the hand pass from Jeremy Howe's a touch error.
So they're going to have a look at that. So my check's the big marking talent ahead of the footy. And then you've got Mason Cox, who also spends time down there. Right now they're not able to get to the contest down the line. So 6 times they've kicked it down, 6 times they've been marked by defenders. Dawson's had 2 of those as well. He's had a good start, Jordan Dawson, on the back of a tougher week last week.
Gary Lyon, Jordan Lewis, Cam Mooney, Super Saturday on Fox. Fox footy coming to you all day today.
I think the other thing that would help that Gaz down the line is movement. I think they reference Mason Cox, and he doesn't really move. He doesn't look to block. He doesn't look to help his teammates in this particular play. Inside the forward 50, they're great.
Yeah.
But the down the line play, they need to create a little bit more confusion. Although they're just really set at the moment.
Phil Thorpe again in the ruck. Tapped away towards Long. Cox makes good position.
That's exactly what he needs to do. What Geordie suggested, he's got to be first to react.
Plays on immediately. Lands at about 40 from home. Forced to crisp. Needs the bounce. Nearly got it too, but in the end it's killed by the Adelaide defenders and Max Michaelani.
He's making some really good decisions at the moment, Jack Crisp. Got to go past the contest, stay at the feet of the forwards.
You're sitting at home, if you're watching this, you're at the ground, you're going, where's the flow? You know, these both sides are so good defensively. This guy has started a house on fire, Jordan Dawson. This is up for his 8th possession.
A couple of intercept marks early and a strong contested mark there. Powerful left foot ball forward. Fogarty takes a good contested mark in front of Howe. Leeds come towards him, gets himself in a bit of trouble. Back to Dawson, good decision on that lethal left. Look at that to Walker, it just curved onto his chest.
So I'm pretty sure in the coaching box right now, Craig McRae and his group, or Craig's down on the boundary, the rest of them are looking at it, the red lights will be flashing around Dawson. So 9 possessions, he's taken 3 marks, he's hit behind the footy now, and if you're giving him time and space to set up like this, Jack Crisp would love to have been able to push him a little bit wider, but this is the class of the man, and he hits Taylor Walker and lace out. He's the dominant player, Jordan Dawson.
Hooks it and then brings it back to Tex. Unusual, but effective.
That's a man who reads the conditions well, Louis.
So last week Bergman went to Dawson right at the centre bounce. It was really stark, Geordie, because he didn't see it too often, and then he tracked him for the whole game, and he did a really good job. And that's not to say that Dawson didn't, but he wasn't getting this sort of looks last week. You know, swinging on that left foot and banging it inside 50. He worked hard defensively, laid about 8 or 9 tackles last week, and that's a sign of a good player when it's not working for you, work defensively. But he's off the chain here right now. What do you do with him?
Isn't it interesting the importance that one team put on a particular player and the tactic that another team put on him? I think you need to clamp him now. I think he's been too dominant right away. So if it's not a genuine tag, we've seen Scott Pendlebury do it on Cripps and done it really well. Knows when to stay on him and work off him. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and tell Scotty to be aware of him at the moment.
We might not see better inside 50 ball than that all day. It was brilliant. They combine Dacos, Pendlebury, McCreery.
He's the leader. Yeah.
He started in centre bounce, the first centre bounce by McCreery, so he's had a couple of attendances through the course of the year. Looks like he's been used a bit more today.
I mean, if you just picture that one than the Isaac Rankin, sometimes the easy option staring you right in the face. Tim Memory made a really good lead to the pocket and was open.
Michael Laney clears the defensive 50. There's Dawson again. Nick Dacos finds a little bit of space to Pendlebury. Gets through one tackle, back to Dacos. showed the ball and then took it away. He gets it back again. Dacos, he might still be in the play if it comes back out of the 50. McCreary, he's still got Dacos on, tries to take on the tacklers.
They just kept the ball alive, didn't they? Really good decision by Hinge. If he had held back, I think they would have been through. I think defensively so far in this quarter, Adelaide have made some really good defensive decisions to come forward.
Not the distance from Curtin to Rochelle, played on. Phil Thorpe just worked underneath it nicely by Frampton. Hand pass to space. That space was nearly filled by Rankin. Allen gets an unlucky bounce.
So Nick Dacos up to the 7 disposals. He's got the run width of Alex Neil-Bullen, and Hinge is the one if he is staying forward.
Dawson's just sitting here all on his own basically at the moment. We're just seeing now Long looks like he might be just starting to go to him with this ball in.
Cam Mooney on the boundary at the MCG. There is Long, tapped away from him. Peatling, Rochelle. Well done again by the Pies. Josh Dacos sees something deep. Mychek's got a couple to compete with. Such a wholehearted customer. Does well. Bobby Hill provides a little bit of speed on the game. Sends it deep down towards Membry. Used his body to the big boy from Terralgan.
Well, he's worked really hard in the early part of this game, Tim Membry. He's been overlooked a few times going inside forward 50. But that is how you work your direct opponent under the ball. I thought it was a great kick from Josh Dacos out of half-back.
A bit of magic from Bobby Dazzler.
That was a pick-up.
Yep.
303 career goals. The 200th AFL VFL player to bring up 300. For an 11th goal for the season. Great mark, good finish.
So turned that over in the back half and got the ball forward. There was a chain of handballs on from... in fact, both teams have been a bit messy. They're trying to get going with hands, but they cut it off right there. So when you cut the ball off there and Josh Dacos is the man with the ball in hand, then you're looking to work something. Watch this pick up from Hill here. Just clean as a whistle. And when Butts gets in the air to defend, when you take your feet off the ground to defend like this, you're absolutely vulnerable just to a soft touch. Beautiful hands.
I think even the kick from Josh Dacos back into the middle of the ground made Rory Laird make a decision, and that was the start of the Adelaide defenders trying to counter for his decision, not impacting in the air, which then meant Oscar Elliott spat forward, which caused a little bit more confusion.
Last 4 games between these sides have been won by Collingwood by under a kick, so expect it to be tight. Just 1 point in it at the moment. Looking for a free kick with Saligo. Elliott having a run in the middle, so they're different players through the middle.
I like it.
In the path of Dacos, but Hinge had it covered. We've seen McCreary in there. We saw Elliott in there.
Yeah, it's allowing Nick Dacos, that is, to play half forward at the moment. So just mixing it up. As we saw last week, they're not reliant on any one player, this football side.
Sidebottom's been on a wing. We haven't seen him in the centre bounces yet.
No, he's only had 2 touches, Steel Sidebottom, having a magnificent year, but just hasn't been involved.
Sometimes you can get stuck on the starvation wing. He's on the outer wing at the moment.
Can pull rank as a senior super veteran and pull rank and just swap sides?
Yeah, he probably could before he's in.
Yeah.
He might be happy just to be out of the traffic for the moment.
How many games do you have to play to be a super veteran, Gary? 300 plus?
280.
280, well, he's 60 clear of that. Here's Dacos. Another high entry inside 50. Membry, Mychek, Butts with the fist. Well gathered front and centre by Laird. Millerer. Touch ball, which will save him in the end. Cameron back by hand. Josh Dacos has had a busy 3 minutes. Pumps it deep forward again. Fist comes to a dangerous area. Here comes Bobby! What's Bobby got for us? He's in the crowd!
What they are doing is winning ground ball inside forward 50, which is a really good sign. So once they go forward, from a marking point of view, it's been hard work, but their ground ball work inside forward 50, it's 5-1 now. And again, this takes pressure off your forwards, knowing that, hey, bring the ball to ground and we're a big chance. So the spoil there is dangerous. You can see the Who was that? He put his hands on his head as soon as he hit the ball goal side.
Coming.
Yeah, Isaac Cumming it was. He just throws his hands in the air and Bobby just goes to work. The ground ball advantage is becoming decided. No fingernail on that, is there or not? He hasn't put his hand up, so he's not a clear one.
Bobby told us pre-game he might do a celebration if he had a goal, but it's hard, Gary, when you're stuck on the fence almost in the crowd.
Well, the teammates need to give him some space. Give him some time post-goal to celebrate.
5 minutes for the Pies.
So last two for Collingwood. Laird, nice little step. Found a little channel to move forward into. Maynard arrives. But Howe, he's taken a couple of good defensive marks already, Jeremy Howe.
I think the other watch is certainly the way that Collingwood are moving the ball in the direct line towards goal that they're taking. Josh Dacos' last couple of kicks have gone direct towards goal. Makes it really hard to defend.
It's a third mark for Howe already. To the members' wing.
That's a message at quarter time for Tex Walker. It is an absolute message. So the 3 targets are there. You've got Thilthorpe and you've got Walker and you've got Fogarty. You can't be outmarked like that.
That was a member of the crowd that was celebrating with Bobby Hill.
So this will give you a look, and it looks like they're going wide at the moment, but this next kick has been in direct line with goal. So quite often sides go to the boundary. They come in a little bit more.
Elliott. Miller up. Good hands, Elliott. Sullivan drives it forward. Hinge well positioned. So why do we regularly see them stick to the boundary, Geordie, rather than that 45 in line with goal?
Yeah, I think it's just for the fact that the other sides can potentially use the open side of the ground and go really quickly. I think Collingwood are so well set up on the open side of the ground, they can take that risk going inside forward 50.
Josh Dacos, Allen. Over the head, looking for Nick Dacos. McCreary gets away from one tackler to Chris. He can't get through. Really good tackle. What a turn Dawson's having, and that should be 50 back.
Yeah, well, 7 seconds probably not going to amount to much in the end, but again, lane tackles in the back half. The way Collingwood go forward is served them so well. They don't get hurt on turnover, really, so whatever the system they're using is working well. Got a banging barrel there.
Entertaining first term. Pies kicked the last 2 of it to hold a 7-point margin in the first break. Bobby Hill's kicked one, Isaac Rankin's kicked one. So Doug Nichols' round continues. Collingwood 4-3-27 lead the Crows 3-2-20 by 7 at quarter time at the mighty MCG.
G'day folks and good afternoon. Game day, of course. The big match, Collingwood taking on Adelaide Crows. Don't you love it, folks? Don't you love it? It's the Magpies leading the way 4-3-27. Leading Adelaide 3-2-20. Just did a walk now. McDonald's soon. Nice, XA6. Tell you what, some Maccas sound quite good to me. There we go. Tell you what, it was an interesting first quarter. Both teams getting a little bit of run. Collingwood looking reasonably good, getting a little bit of run, but, you know, they're just turning the ball over a little bit in their forward. Why Pies, why Eddie G? Tell you what, the Pies are still a little bit fumbly, I think, and not quite clean with their skills, so that is going to be dangerous for Adelaide when they get on song, and of course Adelaide doing the most when they get that turnover. Ended up with a couple of goals. 3 goals. So it's actually not too bad of a match, but I still think this game can lift even more. Tell you what, it's great. It's not, I haven't found this first quarter to be too tight. They've been well spread, so we've got plenty of run. I think we could be in for a day for good high scoring. That's what I think anyway. Looking at the opening quarter. 7 goals, of course, kicked in that opening term. We love that. We love goals. We love accurate kicking. Of course, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. Let me just look at, not much breeze to contend with, although at the MCG could be a little bit swirly. And of course, folks, the temperature here, 12 degrees. Isn't that beautiful and warm? 12 degrees in Melbourne. I'll tell you what, you got to wear a jumper when you're at the footy. Wear your scarves. Let me have a quick look. Hey, I missed the lineups too. Let's have a look at the ins and outs quickly for Collingwood. Of course, We've got some superstars coming back in after a rest. Braden Maynard, Brody Myercheck, Scotty Pendlebury coming in for the Maggies. Going out, though, we've got big outs. Just as big outs as coming in. Darcy Moore, Lockie Schultz, Oleg Markov going out. Of course, there are your teams. And, of course, there we go. Adelaide Crows, unchanged. Let's have a quick look at the players' stats. Let me reload this up. Let's have a look at the goal scorers for everyone. Let me just double check. The first goal scorer of the game was Dan Houston of Collingwood, if anyone was wanting to know that stat. There we go. For the Crows, Taylor Walker, Isaac Ranke, Josh Rochelle of the single goal scorers. And, of course, for the Pies, Tim Membry, Dan Houston, Will Hoskin Elliott, and Bobby Hill kicked a spectacular goal. Folks, you want to see that when you get a chance to look at the replay somewhere later on. It was absolutely magnificent. Let's see who's winning the ball out there. As I was saying, Jordan Dawson, tell you what, he's like a ball magnet in that first quarter for the Crows. He's had 11, 6 and 5, 4 marks, 3 tackles. Well, he was instrumental in Adelaide's play there. For Collingwood, they got the next 5. Josh Dacos leads the way for the Pies on 8. Jamie Elliott, 7. Just with the one behind, Nick Dacos was 7. Slow quarter from him, just with the 7 touches. Jack Crisp, I tell you what, he keeps breaking the records for most consecutive games. Just incredible, Jack Crisp's run. Harry Perryman on 6. Let's just quickly roll down because we're going to get back down to the ground because they are just about, they're not too far off before bounce to the ball. There we go. Who else anyone want to have a look at? Dan Houston for the Pies, just a 5 touches, 3 kicks, 2 handballs. He's kicked a goal. Jeremy Howe doing it well down the back line with Darcy Moore out, taking those beautiful intercept marks. Who else? We've got Ben Keys there for Adelaide on 4. Tex Taylor Walker, just a 3 touches, 2 kicks, 1 handball, but he has kicked a goal. Isaac Ranke, just a 3 touches with a goal as well, 3 kicks for him. There we go. Bobby Hill, 3 and 3, 3 touches, 3 kicks, 1 goal. So doing well. Also, there we go. There are your stats. Brody Myercheck yet to touch the pill. There we go. Mason Cox just with the 2, the big man there. All right, let me just roll that back up. Let's put it back on. Hey, you know what I'll do? Let me just bring, hey folks, for all you Collingwood supporters out there, let me just bring you the live ladder in. That is the live ladder. And, of course, Collingwood win this game. They go back on top. This is the ladder post-live. And, of course, Collingwood sitting 3rd on the ladder and Adelaide sitting 5th. So this is really a must-win game for Adelaide. Keep them in contention with the top 4. But if we turn the live ladder on, that's what we love as a Collingwood supporter, back on top. But we'll see. When this game pans out, we are back there. We are back there. All right, folks. Hey, welcome in, Adrian Sports Channel. How you going, brother? What's happening? Go Pies, go Pies. Ryan, g'day, mate. Go Pies again, and everyone else coming in. Enjoy the broadcast. Don't forget to vote who you think's going to win this game. We've got the poll up there, 83% so far saying the mighty Magpies will win this game. All right, that's enough for me. Let's get back down to the ground. We'll go head to, hey, Paul, how you going, brother? What's happening? Oh, they're in the beautiful land of Thailand. The Magpies by 7 points, quarter time. Let's head back down to the ground, bounce to the ball. Here's the second quarter.
Hill fans up in Northam and the Ohio State Buckeyes tuning in over there in America, watching their Pies. So, truly global. Back in the middle we go. Rankin, goal in the first term. Left foot wobbler forward. Frampton runs out, takes on his chance and plays on his way. Sends it down to Miller. Hill gets his man underneath it, maybe illegally. Coming. And towards Walker. Now gets a fist to it. Maynard giving no room. A couple of big strong boys there, Maynard and Fogarty.
Yeah, and they'd be happy to go on with it.
Better result, though, isn't it?
He halves the contest. Yeah. Taylor Walker gets back and halves the contest. They get a stoppage.
Pendlebury in a tight area.
This is the one, probably Tex Walker will take the ruck. No, he's not. Riley O'Brien will be the ruckman. There's one, Jordan Dawson, just hanging out to the left of the stoppage. Pendlebury coming over now.
Yeah, you're right on that one, Geordie. Suggested that he'd be the man that would put a bit of work into the best player on the ground in the first quarter in Dawson, and he is.
Josh Dacos arrives perfectly. You enjoyed that, Geordie?
It was beautiful.
Now Quaynor.
Just need to find a mark here.
Got Mike Lanny down the line on his own, so hands are the go here.
Dacos covering all sorts of ground, 230 metres gain in the first term alone. Side bottom, curved it away in the end from Saligo. Pendlebury tracks it, doesn't want to take possession. Millerer tackles him. Good stepping back to Millerer around side bottom. Now a chance for the Crows to come back the other way by hand. Rankin measures the ball beautifully in the path of Rochelle. Sends it deep. Fogarty's in best position. Keys nearly spoiled his own man but was aware.
Well, it is Russian roulette in lots of ways. Scott Pendlebury worked so hard off Jordan Dawson in the forward half of the ground, and he was going to get involved, but the handball had missed him. And on turnover, you're going to get hurt when you miss a ball like that. And he's just inside. You just see Jordan Dawson running inside 50 on his own. He had a handball option if he wanted it, Josh Roselli. So you've got to be clean or you pay the price.
21 goals for a beautiful kick of the footy. 22 goals for now. Good start, Adelaide, second term.
I think it also, Gaz, is challenging the high half backs. We understand Collingwood high half backs want to be aggressive. I love this from Rochelle. I think it might have been Josh Dacos. Just let him pass there, so didn't take a count, and he was able to go through, get out the back, and there wasn't an extra Collingwood defender that was able to squeeze on. So challenge them. When you see the ball in the turnover, try and get out the back, challenge these high half backs for Collingwood and make him defend the dangerous part of the ground.
Yeah, they have such faith in their system that to watch Josh Dacos just look at Rochelle and go, no, I'll have support behind me. But the support behind him in that instance was Darcy Cameron, the ruckman, who just couldn't get to Josh Rochelle in the end. So it's a good game of footy right now.
Collingwood by 7 points at the first break. Adelaide bring it back to a point with the opening goal in the second term. Dawson just didn't quite pop for O'Brien. He's good enough to scoop it up. Laird, Dawson, tackled a second time. Good pressure by the Pies, advantage. Pendlebury, Cameron, edges it forward, not too much. He's kicked straight to him.
A little bit unlucky to get hold of the ball, I thought. Thought he got a hand to it.
Dawson to Neil Bullen. Phil Thorpe on a strong lead in front of Frampton. Prodigious kick of the footy. Here comes Fogarty from behind. Walker hits the pack as well. Rochelle overruns it. Josh Dacos was so clean there picking that up. Pendlebury is wandering out of defence. It's possession number 12 for Josh. Side bottom. 45-degree handball.
So that's Pendlebury there, and Dawson sitting in the middle of the ground here. Long goes and covers for him. So Pendlebury pushed really hard defensively. Dawson said, I'm not going with you. Sat in the middle of the ground, and then Long come across and covered for him. Ned Long, not knowing.
Jamie Elliott. Jamie Elliott.
He doesn't even know he's got the free kick.
He got hit that hard in the head. He's not too impressed with it. Or any stretch of imagination.
Right. Going out, outside. Outside.
Mason Cox goes down to even up numbers.
Yeah, so Riley O'Brien's in the pocket.
That's exactly where the ball heads, towards Benro.
It's a good win. I mean, it's a good win for Adelaide, but you need a better contest from Mason Cox. You're going down there to halve the contest. Hopefully mark the ball, but if you lose that contest, it needs to come to ground. Just moved out of the road too easily on that occasion.
Keane to Butts, out of flank. Collingwood's got the numbers at ground level. And take advantage of those numbers. Perryman. Here come the Pies again. Bobby Hill nearly had it.
Geez, that's well done by, is it Laird or Laird?
Well, Michael Annie, Rankin. Oh, gee whiz, that's a touch right.
So Laird's got Jamie Elliott and Bobby Hill coming at him, the two most dangerous small forwards on the ground, and he has to halve the contest.
That was a touch earlier. And there's the high.
A couple on the right. Why is that? For his troubles. Very rarely have we seen teams be able to come inside throughout the day. Both sides protecting the corridor really well. Both sides conservative anyway and back.
Happens again. Fogarty didn't get the bounce. He was after Pendlebury on Peatling into the knees of the ruckman, who provides the physical strength.
Rule, I think, behind the ball.
Jamie Elliott.
So the contest prior.
That's the one that he wasn't too impressed about. With good reason, I think, Geordie.
I think if you look at the Adelaide football side, just by the way that they're moving the ball, yes, the initial contest is important, but the secondary contest is equally as important. It looks like Collingwood are threatening in that particular part. You see here, friendly fire.
Maso got him twice.
They're never too happy when the ruckman get in the road.
Got the resulting free kick from his own teammate, clobbering him twice.
Here we go.
Got a nice little egg on the side of his head there too, boys.
He's not impressed by the work of the big Texan. Josh Dacos.
Racking up 13 touches.
And effective as well. He's been kicking long, 5 metres gain. Now he's just having a chat with Maso on the bench about what potentially occurred, Gary.
What are you doing, you big lug? I think I was over the lip read.
Were you now, Gary?
Josh Dacos, 13 disposals, so he's having a huge say in the game. Nick Dacos, 8 disposals, only 1 kick. So you see that as a little victory in the early part of the game.
Cameron just brushes the tackle aside. And a 45 ball was really good. Dacos stood up, Miller up. Well done, McCreary. Back to Dacos, steps through like few can. McCreary wants to explode on it. Crowd wanted holding the man, didn't get it. Peatling with the exit. Not convincing, but effective. Fogarty can't take it. The Pies are swarming now. Crisp, he's got options. By hand, Maynard, the skipper, to the top of the square. Check brought down.
I thought it was a free kick.
Umpire said play on. Pies fans will be losing it now.
Yeah, they're letting it go. As long as this is the consistent way they umpire, I don't mind. In fact, I like the way they umpired the last 3 minutes, but there's about 3 free kicks that would have been played in games gone by this year.
Collingwood pressing. Check in the ruck. O'Brien grabbed it. Check stole it. Just inched forward by Bobby Hill on Keane. He's got the toe. Defensive kick. Perryman.
Yeah, good position. Backing back into traffic. Really dangerous part. Chips it into the pocket to Scott Pendlebury. Left footer. So he's on the right side.
Good forward pressure, Geordie.
Yeah, by Bobby Hill.
Yeah, so they just kept at it. It's a really interesting game because both sides are so evenly poised and they both play a really similar style. So the thing hasn't opened it up at all. There's one kick, Darcy Cameron, that I can remember where they went inside to really try and split the game open.
Just one goal for the season, Pendlebury, where he celebrated in deference to his young bloke, Jax. And you won't be celebrating in this particular instance.
Well, the 9 forward half intercepts to Adelaide's 4. 2 goals from that part of the game so far.
Collingwood contested possession number just creeping up a bit here.
Number Keane. It's fancy in defence, but pressed off the footy. Michael Annie. And then Curvis does well. It's not a convincing exit, but they do exit. Too much on the kick. Quick hands. Maynard, Houston, back to Maynard. Puts it out in front of Chris. Danger here for the Crows. They're building again. Hoskin Elliott, further hands. Sullivan, Nick Dacos, Houston. We've already seen one long bomb. Doesn't time this one. To the top of the square. Bobby Hill will stay down. Dangerous fist into the corridor. Side bottom stands under it, rides the bump.
Yeah, clever. Didn't want the ball to come out. He knew a stoppage was a great result for Collingwood. Just too cute coming out of the back half, Adelaide.
Well, Pendlebury determines where they come out of the back half because his positioning is elite.
Peatling, Laird, Allen, after the footy with a little bit of space at the MCG. Inside 50, McCreary. Just describe what Pendlebury's doing, Gary.
So he plays the line of the square basically on the outside. So he just closes and takes away the corridor. So in the end, they're coming out of their defence, Adelaide. They look where they want to go or to where they'd be interested to go. But it's just got Pendlebury down there. So they end up kicking to a 2-on-1. Ball goes back in. Now they get repeat entries. We're getting a lot of wide shots though too, Geordie, because both sides come out of defence wide.
Signed an extension into the end of 2027. The speedster McCreary from tight in the pocket will be across the face of goal. And Adelaide take care of it.
So I think they're 1 and 2 for coming out of defence. They both like to take the boundary. So now you're seeing these repeat entries. They can't get through the middle. So the repeat entries are going wide as well. So you're not getting those shots where you'd like to through the middle of the ground.
Guys, just keep an eye on Dan Houston, just in the middle of the ground at the moment. He's got his right calf heavily strapped. Looks like he's got a nice corky there. He's got a nice little limp as he's running.
Next moon's Dan Curvis in best position. Marks unopposed. Look to the centre.
So Pendlebury there with Jordan Dawson. So right where he wanted to go. And this is okay. This is, they take it. I think both sides. Scoreline 29-26. We've talked about the last 4 games played between these two teams, less than a goal. We shouldn't be surprised at what we're seeing right now.
I think early in games as well. I mean, you don't want to force it. You don't want the other side to get a really big margin. Then you have to spend the whole game chasing. You've just got to feel it out, especially first quarter, first half in big games, good opposition.
Cox just feathered it down to side bottom nicely. Ball to be won, then Curvis, hand pass, puts Hinge under pressure. Oh, Dacos, what a tackle that is. He's doing it in every aspect of the game at the moment, Josh Dacos.
Yeah, he did the tackle so well not to give a push in the back. I think it is Pendlebury a run with Dawson. I'm certainly accountable for it.
Rankin just pushes away from side bottom. Dawson on the right, down the line. Tex made early contact with Howard, just flattened him.
So Jordan Dawson has just 3 touches this quarter. Pendlebury's had the 5, so the match-up's working.
I think the Tex Walker one, he just had to come back onto the ball. Tex thought he was going to be the one that marked the ball, but didn't come back on it, which said it was a free kick.
Maynard captaining today with the absence of Darcy Moore with a shoulder issue. Butts behind with a fist. Phil Thorpe. Butts now Peatling. Waited for options. Walker's the marking option this time. Billy Frampton's playing it well.
I tell you what, the grass in the middle of the ground is going to be pretty well protected. This is a boundary game right now. Up and back.
Pendlebury waited long. He's got 2 and he's done.
Let's see whether these big 3 forwards can work for each other. Last couple of times they've just got their way a touch.
Cox has got Phil Thorpe.
Yeah, he's a kick and a half away here.
Aimed towards the pocket. Rankin stuck his hands up. Chris playing a nice game. Turns it over here though to Miller.
And that's why they haven't used the corridor so far. You can't run through there. The mark in Hinge.
Miller behind the goal's view. Howard just underneath it. Tex claimed the mark, which was ambitious. Allen, slight fumble. Quaynor. Josh Dacos, Gary, coming in for his 14th disposal. He's going at 85%.
Yeah, then he just dictates what happens down here. But this is the story. Again, out of the fence, wide. Now the game opens up.
Mychek tracks it back. Opportunity for Long. Does access the corridor. Over the top of Pendlebury. McCreary leaves it behind. Might get them coming back the other way. Worrell, good tackle, Houston. Now McCreary. Out to Allen. What was the ball forward? Bobby Hill clean bowls in. Mychek will have Hill running back past if he needs him. Loops it back out. Too much for Sullivan. Big ball to be won. Long does that. Back to Pendlebury. Oh, clever outside the boot to Chris. Plays on, measures it to Hill, who can line up for his second. Nice work, Pendlebury.
The circus that was. So Geordie said that's why they don't use the corridor. They went in there for the first time. They tried it again for I have another look. Made a meal of it. It stayed there for long enough because Adelaide weren't clear enough. But there was so much mess going on, it had to get into the hands of someone that knew what they were doing. And that was Scott Pendlebury, who then just said, enough of this ball in dispute. Let's get it in the hands and stop and have a set shot.
Picked the last goal of the opening term, did Bobby Hill. Premiership player, Norm Smith medalist. Just hangs it out to the right.
Well, he's probably fatigued. He was doing ring-a-rosy with his direct opponent for about 30 seconds while the Collingwood players tried to work the ball towards him.
It's a booming exit from Worrell. Tex with a well-measured little shove. Plays on with that familiar kicking style. Houston.
It's a big
Mark
win.
Rochelle.
You just saw there Dawson coming through. If that ball had have come to ground, he would have had a really good saying that ball going inside forward 50. Big win by Dan Houston.
Just does everything well, doesn't he, Geordie?
Yeah.
Quaynor.
Oh, that's a kick you got to hit.
It's a little worm burner. It doesn't work out. Phil Thorpe, the bearded one, sends it back the other way to Rankin. Quaynor need to be careful. Does well not to give away a front on free. Does it really well in the end. Frampton, side bottom, clean. And away in the end. Oswego gets him. Now the pass through the middle opportunity. Nick Dacos, he's got his brother. The run was blocked, so Nick couldn't continue on. McCreary does that, sends it deep.
Great decision.
Adelaide well set.
So not a decision by McQuarrie, but a great decision by Keane. Mycheck tried to take him to an area where he wasn't dangerous, and Keane stayed in the middle.
Piercing ball, Fogarty plays on, hits 50. Rankin out the back, will just watch it sail over his head. Fogarty nails it. He's got 2 for the turn.
Well, it's been sloppy from both sides, hasn't it? So the opportunities to go forward. 22 inside 50s each for 4 and 5 goals. Doesn't read all that well. Here's what you're talking about, Geordie.
You just said Mycheck leading up, so he didn't take his direct opponent to a dangerous space. No one manned the mark, and then they were able to go coast to coast. So a couple of really important decisions. When you don't get a little bit of delay on the ball, you can just see there the Collingwood defenders all turned around. And a great finish in the end. I love the decision by Keane though. Stay in a dangerous spot. Watch the kicker's eyes, and see where he wants to deliver the ball.
First time for a little while, it's just opening up a little bit. They did access, through that middle part of the ground. It does give you some great options going through. Fogarty makes a great decision. Isaac Rankin started to get a little bit more dangerous going forward as well. They just have missed him a couple of times. And he dropped an easy mark as well, which he should have taken.
8 disposals and a goal for Rankin. Dacos leads all with 15, Dawson 14. Long, Pendlebury, McCreary.
So Brody Mycheck just the 2 touches, missed last week with an abdominal injury of some sort. Just hasn't been able to get himself involved. Keane doing a great job. Cox just the 2 touches as well. So a couple of the big key forwards that haven't really got started yet.
Taylor. Curtin. Phil Thorpe in good position. He's got sticky hands. Big Riley. Big kick of the footy. Punches it towards the top of the square. Fogarty, he's already got 2 for the term.
That's a good mark. That's a great mark. And you just thought with Darcy Moore out, they may be one big key defender short if they can get going. Tex is occupying Howe. Howe's had the better of him, but he's occupying him. We know what Thilthorpe could do, and now this bloke's just starting to get off the chain a little bit.
From a tight angle.
Bellied it. It could have come in another metre, 2 metres as well, close to the goal.
It's a super mark.
Yeah, strong mark. 2v1.
Being 3 for the term for Fogarty. Couldn't manage it. And fell into the lap of Nick Dacos. Laird. Saligo. Unfortunate bounce, but Josh Dacos is there with a barrel for possession number 16 to open space. Membry, big shove on Worrell, play on. Coming back is Mycheck. Here comes Jamie Elliott. Dishes off to Long. He's got side bottom. Steele, the number 22. The super veteran. Straight through.
It's a great return, and I just want to go back, though, from an Adelaide Pros point of view, where this started. It was at half-back when Saligo had the ball. And what they've got to start to do, you'll see Rochelle here, centre wing. This is the kick. Hit that kick right there. Instead, blazes away blindly, and from that point on, they're on the back foot. Simple decision. There's the free. Hit him up, then all of a sudden, Rochelle's got the whole forward 50 to work in. Pays the ultimate price. Great contest in the air from Mycheck, so that's just what you need. And side bottom is as good on his opposite side as anyone in the competition finishes off. So the goal that was, no one needs a goal at the moment because it's a really good contest, but it's coming at a good time.
We spoke about still side bottom before, just maybe on starvation wing on the outer side. That's exactly the way that you need your wings to run. Stay on the open side in the fact that you get noticed. Really held his line. Ben Kings was just a little bit late in getting there. Classy finish.
First goal of the turn for the Pies. They led by 7 at quarter time. To a 4-point margin. O'Brien runs away from Crisp. Collingwood pressing. The ground ball numbers. Nick Dacos spins to long. Another hand pass. Crisp. 2 in a row for Collingwood. MCG on their feet.
Well, this is where Collingwood are at their most dangerous when they can take ground by hand and really force the defence to be unsure. Do you come up? Do you apply frontal pressure, which allows them to keep going? And do you get it right? We just see here the turnover, centre forward, and then the Collingwood players just swarm. They get inside the contest, then they get it on the outside, then they make really good decisions. Handballs going forward, taking ground, getting inside the forward 50, and a classy finish by Jack Crisp.
David McCreary's been impressive. It's in the middle of the ground. He started the centre bounce, got early. I think he might have got this from first centre bounce clearance of the game. So he's back in there again. So mixing it up. Sullivan, Lockie Sullivan, Bo McCreary, and Ned Long. There's 3 blokes in the middle of the ground that you perhaps wouldn't have thought would be there at this stage of the season for the Pies.
2 in a short period of time. Sees Collingwood out by 10 points. Touch darker at the MCG. The
Sullivan got the centre bounce clearance, so the faith is there.
It just gives you freshness as well. So if you speak about the running from a midfield point of view, contest to contest, just get fresh legs in there, good energy, and clearly showing some trust in those players.
O'Brien takes it from his skipper, Taylor, gathered by Rankin. Playing all with a little hand in, Frampton, Maynard, side bottom. Knew that he was going to be under pressure if he took possession. As the rain starts to fall down there as it moves.
Nice run for cover, Moons. It is a bit predictable going forward. That's a great hit. That is a great hit. Once they get 60 to 70 out for goal, I think their process is really good. I reckon when they're about 120 out, bit predictable, bit long down the line. The one we showed you earlier where they should have squared it up and hit someone on the inside, they've got to get into their setup a little bit more. But when they do go quick and fast, this bloke looks set.
Rain falling, tight in the pocket, tough, but this man is a wonderful set shot for goal. Fogarty with 2 for the turn. Fogarty! 3 for the turn! Top shelf finish! Angle, rain, no problem.
It's fair to say that was against momentum, Howie. So we've spoken about the inability to access the corridor. And I even think inside forward 50, the Collingwood defenders are happy to give the wide one. So if you can kick the goals from that area, you'll get the chances. We just see here Riley O'Brien, a nice quick kick inside forward 50. Billy Frampton was a little bit off, 1-2 metres, but it's a fantastic finish.
So this is what happens now. So Fogarty's got Howe. So Howe had the better of Walker. So now Howe's got to roll over onto Fogarty, who's the hot player. So now Tex Walker, when he comes back onto the ground, has got to take advantage of that. He's been relieved in the matchup that it was giving him problems. He's got to get hot now.
24-4 to sit third on the Coleman for the Deadeye. Fogarty, Quaynor, wet weather footy now. Sullivan, up and under ball. Good courage coming back, Nankervis.
Great mark, Nankervis.
See if they can get it to that 75, 80 metre mark out where then things open up for them.
3 goals for the turn for Darcy Fogarty.
Well, they certainly don't want to go quick, do they, guys? They don't want to involve handball receives. Maybe that is the conditions.
Worrell drives it deep into the pocket. Phil Thorpe's front position. Here's the 2 dominating the game, Nick Dacos and Jordan Dawson.
Still only the 1 kick. Nick Dacos, 11 hand passes, 1 kick.
His brother has had 16 disposals, 8 and 8, going at 88% efficiency. As the rain starts to sheet across the MCG. Cameron wrestles with O'Brien. Nick Dacos. Side bottom. Scurries it out of defence, only as far as Laird. Now Worrell. Over the top of everyone, Fogarty. Clever to Rankin. Not quite.
There's a lot of numbers, a lot of spare Collingwood defenders at the moment.
Rankin bursts through the passage. Allen prevents him going all the way.
Yeah, you just got to be careful how many spares you have in a defensive 50. You want to give Adelaide spares behind the ball as well to be able to go back in. It does mean it becomes quite hard for the Adelaide forwards and midfielders in this particular situation to find some space.
Fullthorpe calls himself up to the contest, sends Rochelle back. Spiral kick out of defence. That's a good one from Membry.
It's the old two-legged jump.
Yep.
Timmy Membry was saying that for a long time, haven't we?
Fox will have 2 to beat. Clean rise with a fist. Ground ball. Hinge good. Laird sweeps it out wide. Miller tries to step Bobby Hill. Good luck with that. Bobby gets him, just gets a little boot to it. Nick Dacos. Wet weather. Hurries it inside 50 any way he can, and Allen stands underneath it.
Can't tell you how good that kick is. I can't tell you how good that kick is. I reckon he pulled the kick halfway through, kicking the ball, if you know what I mean. It's just about to hit these balls, about to hit his boot, and he saw that they had numbers down the line, so he swung it across his body and found Ed Allen.
One career goal in his 7th match. Hasn't kicked one this season, Ed. From directly in front, 52 metres out. Makes good contact right to the square.
I think both sides coming into half-time would be relatively pleased with the way that they've been able to perform. If you look at maybe a little RF5 for Adelaide, it is their ground ball game. They would have been able to go contest to contest and be relatively clean. Thought he had the mark there, Cameron.
Maynard. Josh Dacos. Maynard, a little clever tap. They still keep the ball in, but not in the end.
It's the worst ground ball return for a half a footy than any team for the year from a Adelaide Crows point of view. But they better get their head around it, because with this rain coming down here, that's where the footy's going to be.
Tap down towards Rochelle. Back towards the wing. Howe. Another mark for Jeremy.
Yeah, he started behind Taylor Walker on that occasion. Tex just couldn't get there. I don't know whether he didn't read it or he just didn't.
He just read the flight better.
Yeah.
Running underneath it with that familiar leap again, his memory.
That's 50 metres, isn't it? That's fast to stand twice.
Maynard bangs it into the pocket to memory.
I think we all see in the back half. That'll be disappointing for Matthew Nicks. I think if you shake the handball when you get them off the line, the umpire will call you back.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it twice. But then to have Tim Memory just sit inside 50 with what, inside a minute, last shot of the goal of the day, of the quarter, disappointing.
3-time leading goal kicker at the Saints, Tim Memory. After the siren, to extend Collingwood's lead, and does not register a score. So it was Collingwood by 7 points at quarter time. Fogarty kicked 3 for the term. Collingwood kicked 2, and there's a 5-point margin. Collingwood 6-7-43, Adelaide 6-2-38.
In the words of their famous golf commentator, do you expect anything less? 5 points to margin. These teams don't have blowouts. The last 4 games all decided by less than a goal. It's beautifully poised. I think both teams have had their moments. You're right, Geordie. They'll take a lot in this when they go inside the rooms at half-time. Cam Mooney's going to join us with Jeremy Howe in just a moment, but they are evenly matched. They play a similar style of footy. They refuse to take risks through the middle of the ground. So
Mike's got to chase Jeremy out. He better get on the bike, Cam Mooney.
I think Jez has forgotten
about it. Jez has forgotten about it. He's come back now, but it'd be great to get a player's perspective on how they've seen the first half as we head down to Cam Mooney.
Well, first of all, you forgot me, mate. We'll keep walking. Mate, how are you seeing the game at the moment? Very nicely poised.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be an arm wrestle. You know, we know we've got an unbelievable ability to be able to score. I feel like our defence is holding up at the moment. It's got to be one of those ones who can hold the momentum for longer. It's going to probably get the result.
How are you finding the condition at the moment? Swirly in the air?
Yeah, definitely. It's doing it a little bit. Probably the breeze is favouring this end now, but we'll look to reset, get it done in the contest and see how we go.
Someone like Nick Dacos, he's having had a great game, but he's impacting with handball. Not enough kicks at the moment. How do you get him into the game?
Oh, he just plays a selfless role as well. If he can't get himself involved, he'll get others involved and expect that in the second half.
Thanks, Al. Good on you, mate.
It's Jeremy Howe and Cameron Mooney. Half-time here at the MCG. The ponchos are on. Winter is approaching. Collingwood, they're up by 5 points at the half-time break.
Now touring.
All right, folks. All right. There we go. I tell you what. Oh, he just missed that goal. He missed everything on the final siren to extend the Magpies' lead. But I tell you what, the rain's coming down now. She's a bit wet out here at the MCG. Oh, tell you what, it's a cracking game. As I said, the last few games have been decided within just a few points. Wowee, who's going to win this one? I tell you what, you know what, I still like the Pies. Even though I'm a Pies supporter, I think, I think they're sort of controlling the game here. I think Adelaide are just getting the turnovers from the Maggies, what they're doing wrong. See, once the Pies put it all together, could be a different story. But both good teams, both teams playing great football, great form they're in this season. So it's still anybody's game. And as the polls suggest, 80% still go for the Magpies. Game Board, welcome into the famous Game Board over on her new channel, T-Name Bem Bem's new channel, Game Board, Millionaire Mindset. How you going? Welcome in. Paul, g'day, Squire. Oi, Mark, how you going, brother? I didn't see you in there. How you doing? He's just going over to see Maui Howe and CJ in Paradise. Yeah, say g'day. Say g'day. Let me just say g'day to Mark there. Fantastic. All right. I tell you what. You know what? There we go. Let me stop that jibber jabbering. Not many goals. Let me just see how many goals we put on in that quarter. The Magpies in the second term, 2 goals, 4. A few wobbly kicks there. Get back to kicking straight like the Adelaide Crows. 6 goals, 2. They put on 3 straight goals in that second term. Adelaide won that quarter just. There we go. Let's have a little bit of a look at the stats, the goal scorers. I tell you what, Darcy Fogarty, he's looking super dangerous for Adelaide down there up forward. I tell you what, he's got some good mitts down there. He's had 8 disposals. He's had 6 kicks. He's had 5 marks. Tell you what, look dangerous. Thank goodness for the Pie supporters. He had a snapshot on goal just from the boundary, kicked at the fat of the belly of the ball, and sort of went over to the other side of the goals net of bounds. So that was a little bit of a let-off for the Pies. But he's kicked 3, the leading goal scorer and the only multiple goal scorer out on the ground this afternoon. Taylor the Tex Walker, he's kicked 1. Isaac Ranke and Rochelle are the goal scorers, single for the Crows, of course, for the Magpies. Still side bottom bobs up with a goal there with Tim Membry, Dan Houston, Will Hoskin Elliott and Bobby Hill. There your goal scorers. I thought we were going to have some high-scoring game here. Of course, 12 goals up until half-time, but just the rain coming down now, a little bit of wet weather football. It'll be interesting. There we go. Leading possession getter now on the ground, of course, Josh Dacos. I tell you what, I think he's a very underrated player, Josh Dacos, the brother of Nick. Tell you what, he's a great link-up player. He's so clean and skillful. There we go. 17 possessions, 8 kicks, 9 handballs, a mark, a tackle, and a clearance. Jordan Dawson, a little bit quieter, just the 5 touches in that second term for Adelaide Crows on 16. All right, let me put this back here. We'll get back down to some of the commentators. I'll give us a little bit of analysis, and then we'll come back and have a look at some more stats in just a moment.
So it won't be 5 points to the margin. Last 4 encounters being decided by less than a goal, and we're heading that way again.
Yeah, I think both sides will go into half-time and sit really comfortable with the way the game has been played. No side has been perfect, but certainly had their opportunities. But both had recent experience in tight games, so they would have went to work during the week on what needs to happen in the second half.
Both sides prefer to come out of their defensive halves along the boundary, but there is a time when Collingwood just straighten up ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think 80% of the teams in the competition would put that closer to the boundary, maybe 10 metres inside the boundary, but this Collingwood side are prepared to be a little bit more aggressive with their ball movement out of their back half, and it is in direct line with goals, so one, it becomes predictable to the forwards further down the ground, but it just gives you more of a chance to score. You can see there, if it's closer to the boundary, you are hampered in a way. If it's more towards the corridor with a little bit more risk, you've got more room to move. And I love that their small forwards really take charge, and they've been able to hit the scoreboard from this point of view. So that would usually go to the pocket. Really safe kick. You can sort of get in behind it. You can put layers of defence, but you make the defence panic, you give yourself an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think you can do that when you're really confident in your team's ability to win ground ball.
Yeah.
And they had some dominance in that area early in the piece. Don't get outmarked. If you can't win a ground ball, you open yourself up to turnover, but they've done it really well. Let's have a look at the Adelaide Crows. Their intercept marking game's in really good stead. They've taken 13 for the game. You love the fact that Marqueen just let my check go there and went back into the hole. From this point on, Collingwood on the back foot. One of the few times the corridor's been accessed.
Yeah, it's been an intercept game, hasn't it? I mean, no goals have come from stoppage at the moment in this first half. We thought with the conditions that maybe that would have been a really big score source, but I mean, you've got to be making decisions on the fly. In that particular instance, Marqueen made the right decision. We're able to go back with a transition goal, but it's an intercept first half, that's for sure.
One of 3 goals that Darcy Fogarty kicked in that second quarter. Let's go down to Cam Mooney. Moons, what's the Adelaide Crows' attitude been towards Nick Dacos?
Look, what they've done really well, it's fair to say, guys, winter just hit Melbourne, by the way, let me tell you. But what they've done really well is just a team effort. Laird, more to the point, has played on him when he's gone forward at times. And then we've seen Malira and Saligo as well has played on him. But he's only had 16 possessions, I shouldn't say only, he's had 16 possessions, only 4 kicks, but he's had 12 handballs, and I could have shown half a dozen of these efforts from Dacos, winning the ball and getting the ball onto the outside, and you called it pretty well, Louis, at the time, getting the ball on the outside for his teammates to finish the work that he usually does. So while he's not having a great impact with the ball in hand with his foot, he's actually having a very big impact with the ball, with his handballing. So he's been absolutely outstanding on that point of view. But clearly, if you're Collingwood, you want to see him kick the ball more than handball. But right now, he's doing what he can for the team.
Get yourself out of that rain, Cam. 5 points the margin. If the Magpies are going to take a break, the main man at the Herald Sun and Fox Footy, the sports broker Jay Clark, to join us. It's really sad and tragic news that's broken in the football world. We give that to you on the other side of the break.
All right, well, listen, and see what that sad news they're talking about in football is right after the break when they come back. All right, let's head back to some of these stats. For all the stat fans out there, all right, there we go. Don't forget, hey, folks, don't forget, hey, if you want to subscribe to a new sports channel, get over there to Game Board. One of my good friends over there, she's starting up a channel. It'd be fantastic if everyone goes and gives her a little bit of the support on the break. That'd be fantastic. There we go. Let's get back to the stats. Scotty Pendlebury, the old boy, he's up to 12, 5 kicks, 7 handballs, doing well. Just behind Rory Laird, next best for Adelaide Crows on 15. So Adelaide, they're not really getting the ball much up until half time. As you can see, stats-wise, their top man is on 16, Rory Laird 15. Next best is Isaac Ranke down there on 10. Sure, that'll all change. Jack Crisp up to 12 for the Magpies, kicked a goal. The record breaker continues to break them. Consecutive games. Let's roll on down. James Peatling on 10. Isaac Quainer there. He's been involved a bit for the Maggies down back. He's on 9. Harry Perryman on 8, yet to kick a goal. Same with Jamie Elliott. Been in the play a bit. The 5 kicks, 4 handballs. Yet to put a major on the board. He's just kicked the one behind. Let's roll on down. Darcy Fogarty there, as I said. Danger man up forward for the Crows. He's the man they're going for. Riley Thilthorpe's been, a little bit, well, it looks like they're going to Fogarty instead of Thilthorpe. And Tex today, Thilthorpe just with the 7 touches, 5 kicks, 1 behind for him. Let's roll on down a little bit more. Jake Saligo just with the 6 touches. Membry with the 6 touches for the Pies with the 1 goal. Bo McCreary not getting much of the ball today. Just made a couple of indecisions there, which probably cost the Pies a goal. Is running through the half forward and a lead-up player in Myercheck. Elected to kick long. Adelaide defence held up well. Goal missed. Just incorrect decisions, probably by both teams there, just letting them down slightly. There we go, looking at the team stats at the moment. It's plus 33 in disposals for the Magpies. Plus 10 kicks for Adelaide. And, of course, the Magpies, I think they're just, well, they're tending to overhandball the ball a little bit this afternoon. Plus 43. Inside 50s, though, both teams equal there. 26 inside 50s for both teams. 13 scoring shots to the Pies. 8 scoring shots to the Crows. It shows you the Magpies, well, they're certainly peppering the goals when they get their opportunity. They're just kicking a little bit skew-if. 71-73. Disposal efficiency, well, I suppose that's all right. Let's have a look at the turnovers when we get down there. Free kick, 7-12, there we go. The Magpie Army not too happy about that. The Crows plus 5 in the free kicks. Hit-outs, well, Adelaide are winning that way. A little bit surprising, 19-12, plus 7. Clearances, though, it's the Magpies on top, 18-15. Centre clearances by 1, 7-6. Stoppage clearance there. Contested possessions, Maggie's a little bit harder there. Plus 15 and plus 27 in uncontested. Let's just have a look at the marks. There we go. Adelaide plus 14. Marks inside 50 too. Big numbers for the Magpies at 10 up until half time. And let's just have a look.
Has passed away in Perth today. It's hard to comprehend, mate, the pain really. His family be feeling today.
Let's just have a little bit of a listen in here.
Troy only 3 months ago in February. Adam was 41, played 187 games for West Coast, including the 2006 Premiership. He was also the head of the AFLW program for a period. He's been remembered today. He's just an incredibly selfless footballer, tough and courageous, disciplined, so team-orientated in his tagging roles. He did it for the team, and above all, just an incredibly popular teammate. He's going to be sorely missed, Gaz.
So news of this at the MCG, and it filters through, and you have to be absolutely certain, first of all, that the family have told the amount of people they need to. So
they're talking about Adam Selwood.
Selwood, who provided the statement today, and it says this is on behalf of the Selwood family. It says we are heartbroken by the passing of Adam earlier today. Words cannot express the grief and sadness we feel. Adam was a loving husband, incredible father to Lenny and Billy. We are devastated to lose such a wonderful husband, father, son and brother. We'll miss Adam deeply. The spirit, the kindness, the joy that he brought to every room, his determination, the lessons he shared and his infectious personality will stay with us always. Adam had a unique ability to make people feel special, and our family was lucky to experience that every day. I believe there'll be a tribute, Gaz, at the West Coast versus St Kilda game tomorrow over in Perth, where he'll be honoured. Obviously, his brothers, Joel and Scott. Scott's an assistant coach here at Collingwood. He's not at the game today, obviously, and he'll take a period of personal leave. So our deepest condolences to the family and his parents, Bryce and Rory, obviously.
Good job. Let's go down to Cam Mooney, of course, a Geelong icon himself, Moons. We feel for you and the whole Geelong family today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Look, obviously found out the news this morning along with yourselves, and it's a family I've known for nearly 20 years, and a family that I've grown very fond of over the years and loved. So to hear the news this morning, yeah, absolutely tragic. And as Jay said, it was only 3 months ago that we buried Troy. So yeah, obviously just want to send all my condolences and love to a family that I absolutely love and adore, and to a teammate that I got to play alongside with in a couple of premierships, and just let everyone know that we're all thinking of you guys and that we love you, and all the best.
Thanks, Cam. We're thinking you too, Jay. Thanks for that. And everyone at Fox Footy obviously extends our deepest sympathies to the Selwood family. Joel's a great friend of ours all, and to Marie and Bryce, our thoughts are with you.
there we go. Condolences, Selwood family. Adam Selwood passing away. Just heard the news this morning over there in Perth. Very sad news at the age of 41. Adam Selwood, my gosh. They say they just lost Adam and Troy, I think they said last year. So, that's sad news across the footy world. All right, folks, let's get, as I was saying, the marks inside 50 for the Maggies, 10-6 plus 4. It's pretty good going for both teams inside 50 up until half-time. Looking at the tackles, tackle count pretty well down for both teams, 28-21 plus 7 to the Pies, but it's a reasonably open game here, so that's probably the reason why the tackle count is a little bit low. There and inside 50, just a 3 to the 2 to Adelaide, Pies +1. All right, let me take this back up. We'll get this back on. Just re-looking at the live ladder at the moment, the live ladder, Collingwood in front. That's how it ends up. That's where they'll end up on top if they end up winning. So we're hoping for that. And, of course, Adelaide down here in 5th. They'll be, there we go. They'll be a couple of games off top if they lose today. If not, if they win today, they'll only be half a game, as we can see there, prior to the ladder and the live ladder. There we go. All right, folks. I hope you're enjoying. Hey, don't forget to vote who you think's going to win today's game. 75% still saying the Magpies are going to win this game. She's a close game. Adelaide Crows for life. How you going? Welcome in. Good luck to your team. If you must be a big Adelaide Crows supporter there. Good luck to you. Of course, good luck to everyone. Whoever you vote for. Don't forget, folks, more games coming up today. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cover any more games today. I will be preoccupied. But the game following this game, Collingwood and Adelaide, if you want to listen to that, you can probably head on over to Game Board. Game Board on her channel will probably cover this one, which will be Port Adelaide taking on Geelong. That should be an absolutely fantastic game down over there at Adelaide Oval. And, of course, GWS Giants, they're playing Fremantle today. Adrian Sports Channel, that's his team. Of course, we know Eddie G, his second favourite team is Collingwood. Go Pies. Good luck with Fremantle today. And, of course, this evening we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on Essendon. Should be another classic clash there at Marvel Stadium. And tomorrow we've got 3 games coming up for you. I should be able to cover those games. Richmond versus North Melbourne. As Ryan's team, Richmond, should be a fantastic game. Both teams in reasonably good form, although sitting low on the ladder, both teams in reasonably good form. Following that game tomorrow, Brisbane Lions taking on Melbourne. Should be another classic game up there at the Gabba. Would expect Brisbane to come out on top there. And, of course, the last game of round 10 on Sunday is the West Coast Eagles taking on St Kilda there at Optus Stadium in Perth. Should be another reasonably good game. A very interesting game indeed. But still a couple more good games to come today, folks. If you want to listen in, you can head over to Game Board. Her channel is there. All you have to do is just search her. Let me see if I can... preoccupied celebrating Pies win. I tell you what, Mark, I hope so. Yeah, I've got to go and visit a friend after this. So, yeah, there we go. So I'll do that. I'll actually stick up. Wait a minute. I'll stick up Game Board's channel. So if anyone wants to listen into the next games, you can head over to her channel and certainly listen to the games there. So it should be pretty good. Let me just drop the link there for Game Board. There we go. So if you want to listen into the next football game, you can head over to that channel after this game and you'll be able to listen to the next game, which should be a fantastic game. Of course, Port Adelaide taking on Geelong. I know. Let's go Pies, Mark. All right, we're heading down to the ground. Bounce the ball. Here is the second half with the Pies by 5 points.
And the 10th was a draw. Josh Dacos, 17 disposals in the first half. In wet conditions, looks for his brother Josh. To Nick. Cameron's a bit sore after that ruck contest in the middle.
We would have had too many halves with only the one kick, Nick Dacos, but very creative by hand, as Cam Mooney put on the agenda or spoke about at half time. Sorry, the 5 kicks. and 12 hand passes. This is a kick also that goes in direct line with goal, so not towards boundary. Oh, so Mung.
Straight on the chest of Rankin.
Genuine Mung.
That's their 14th intercept mark for the Adelaide Crows.
Rankin measures the ball to Phil Thorpe in wet conditions. Another one for Josh Dacos. Side bottom just stands off it.
And Frampton, you'll be happy with the job Frampton's done on Phil Thorpe. He's had a couple of really big moments, but just the 4 possessions. And here's the Darcy Cameron injury here, which is a bit innocuous, but he's up and about. He'll contest this boundary throw.
A couple of big marks early too, Phil Thorpe.
He did.
Looked dangerous.
He did, and Frampton's fought back pretty well, so it's a good contest.
Shallow entry.
Too high.
I saw the...
Both teams keeping 6 forwards ahead of the ball, so if they do want to go quick, in this instance, still side bottom, they could have just been a little bit more patient.
Side bottom towards the flank. Rankin away from long nicely. Looks forward to a one-on-one. Howe and Walker. Howe's been good all day. Gets back cleverly to Frampton. He knew he was there. Frampton tries to turn one round the corner. Beautiful pick-up hinge. Peatling. Rankin. They're building here, the Crows. Dawson on the left. Have to hang on a long time there, Shelley.
That pick-up for Mitch Hinge should never be underestimated. We laud all sorts of things, kicking and marking and everything else. Being clean beneath your knees is one of the great skills, and in these conditions, it's a candidate for pick-up of the year.
Frampton points down the line and hugs the aforementioned line. Kept in by Cumming. Houston stands underneath it. We saw a couple of shallow throwback in. Robert Walls has been celebrated this weekend. He used to hate that, Gary, when the umpires wouldn't get it right back into the middle of the ground.
There's not much tolerance for a poor throw-in as we...
No, he hated it with a passion.
We get this sorted out with Dan Houston. And we know where this ball's going.
They're conceding long down the line, aren't they?
I think this is going to be a down-the-line sort of a game. So just get yourself ready. In your own mindset, you're just saying, right, let's get ready for a contest, contest after contest for a big half.
Exactly where it goes. Mychek, the man, Gary highlighted the one-hander.
He loves it. He loves these conditions.
20th disposal for Dacos towards Elliott.
I think that's what we'll see. Talk about the gears in which sides are able to play. So long down the line, so a little bit slow. We see here the replay of the Mychek mark. The one-hander, so just proves that he's got great strength against Riley O'Brien. So yes, take ground, mark the ball, but at some stage, especially centre forward, try and involve handball receives and put a bit more speed on the ball.
O'Brien goes straight off the ground.
So Jordan Dawson, who lit the place up in that first quarter. So Scott Pendlebury, the master, went and took responsibility for him, and in that second quarter had just the 5 possessions, Dawson, after having an outstanding opening 11 possession quarter. So he's a marvel, Scott Pendlebury.
Hinge, McCreary. He's attacked a couple of tough footies already this term.
That was the other one. So Darcy Fogarty has a 3-goal third quarter, and he and Phil Thorpe and Walker present all the different options with Darcy Moore not there. So Maynard is checking his hand after running into the fence there. He's the one that's got the responsibility for Fogarty. So body to body, that's a contest that you don't want to get in the way of.
Again, the boundary umpire just losing traction with the throw-in. O'Brien, Pendlebury on top of him.
Their open stoppages, you just look at the forward line, especially from Collingwood, really trying to pull back, maybe giving their midfielders a little bit more transition space. Adelaide doing the same. Got the ball, Rankin. You just see there, so I think what you need to understand as a midfielder is if you've got the chance to chain it out, certainly do that by hand, but also if you're under pressure, you can go forward with confidence, understanding there's no spares behind the ball at either end.
I think Mychek appreciated the treatment and the carpet burn on the elbow.
Fake grass.
Pendlebury and Dawson. Pendlebury off the ground. McCreary can't get away from coming.
At any stage, Jordan, do you think that one of them or both will try and open this up and be aggressive through the middle?
I think so. I wouldn't have imagined it would come in the third term. Most likely in the fourth.
Pendlebury to space.
Because this is where it's lived.
Yeah, but I think you also need to be aware as a player. You still need to check. You still need to check off if there are options in the middle of the ground, if you do have ball control. Because sometimes there will be lapses from defence. But right now, it seems like both sides are happy to keep 6 forwards ahead of the ball, go one-on-one in and around the stoppages, and make it a territory game.
Hinge has been clean this third quarter.
Puts it out in front of the running. Peatling on the left, instep is the best way to describe that.
Very generous.
Yes. Frampton.
So you take this as a win. So I think if what we've been speaking about, just to take 50 metres, it hadn't been pretty, but to get a stoppage centre forward with a little bit of space in and around the contest. There you got Rochelle, you got Dawson, Hinges we've spoken about before, Rankin coming up as well.
O'Brien over the top. Rankin overran it. Dawson to the corridor. Nankervis. Nice clean pick up. Didn't have much to go to. Almost threw it back. Worrell spirals it deep forward. Tough to mark. And standing underneath it is Curtin.
It's an inside out mongrel torpedo. But ironically, and this is what we've been talking about, it goes into the centre corridor because Dawson kicks it off the ground, right? So not really planned, but just a hack into the middle of the ground, and now they get a shot at goal because it's all of a sudden vacated this boundary where it's lived for the first 6 minutes of this third quarter.
Geez, weren't the Adelaide boys just quickly to remind the old Port Adelaide boy about it?
They've done a good job on Dan Houston.
4 goals for the season. It's a disappointing miss.
It's a bad miss. So Houston, Neil Bullen's got responsibility for him. He's had 9 touches. He only kicked the ball 6 times. That's a win. It's a big win for the Crows. He needs to get involved.
Out of the members' side. Cox has got a step on the pack. Nick Dacos, side bottom, Quaynor. Josh Dacos. Nick Dacos on the switch. Nicely worked to Allen.
Yeah, Hoskin Elliott spreading wide. That's good work rate.
A further split for him, but he comes back into the corridor to Pendlebury.
Change of direction in the corridor. Almost the corridor kick. Crowd will go berserk. No, back out.
And Houston in the middle of the ground if they want to take a risk. Like he's limping still down Houston from that calf cork.
Cox splits the pack. Saligo clean. Nankervis measured at the fill for.
Let's see what their attitude is going to be here, the Crows.
In the middle of the ground if they can switch the ball. That's what I mean about you've got to keep looking. So Thilthorpe didn't even check off the middle of the corridor early on. It was open.
It was Rankin too.
Peatling does.
There you go.
Millerer has a bit of space and the whole ground ahead of him. Lobs it inside 50, favours side bottom. Rankin does well. Somehow pinches it. He's picked his pocket.
Well, I tell you what.
Pretty sure that bounced off his scone, didn't it? Side bottom's bonds.
They are talking to each other. But we'll go back if he kicks this goal. I think it was Bobby Hill, because Geordie identified it was Isaac Rankin, the man that Thilthorpe elected not to go to, and then he kept running. Bobby Hill ran with him for about 15 metres and then said, no, I'm not going any further. And you pay the price to let Isaac Rankin go. I think I did hit him in the melon.
93rd game across the Suns and the Crows, only his 7th visit to the MCG. His kick one has the number 23 and he has not added to it. And the Pies fans, let him know about it.
Well, these opportunities, so 2 good-edged opportunities from Curtin and Isaac Rankin haven't resulted in a goal. You may live to rue that against a Collingwood side that you know will just keep coming.
Clearing ball from Dacos. Josh. Slick hands out to side bottom. Crows have got a 2-on-1, but Elliott in good position. Good spoiling in by Michael Annie. Elliott keeps it in. Tries to just Squeeze it forward. Hinge. Ripped off the footy. Good tackle. They're building off the ground. Nick Dacos. Worrell clears his defensive zone only as far as side bottom.
Once again, another clean ground ball by Worrell. So the Adelaide defenders have been really clean in this area. That's a good kick. I like it. Just opens up the forward 50 a little bit more. Makes it a little bit less predictable for the Adelaide defenders.
Perryman, a Pies fan growing up. Up and under, inside 50. My check, Cox, Cameron, Peatling applies.
Yeah, he's lucky there, O'Brien. Ideally, he'd love to get a big spoil over the boundary line, not a soft drop.
Bobby Hill doesn't need much space, but even he can't weave something in that little pocket.
He's done a good job, Riley O'Brien with Cameron. So hit outs to advantage, important, 10-4 in favour of Big Riley, up against the man who's probably behind Max Gawn as the best ruckman maybe in the comp.
Beats Cox in this contest. Hinge had a good turn. Peatling, good pick-up. Towards centre wing. Quaynor just below his knees, couldn't pick it up. And turn it over straight back to side bottom. With Rochelle. Frampton with a little bit of a step from Billy. Slides into the pocket, too much on it for Elliott. The two Adelaide defenders spoil it. Might check from about row 3.
That was a great example of Frampton not even looking in, because they had players in and running spare, and that there, if he goes inside, they've got players, goes back down the line.
Yeah, it's the challenge, I think, of coaches to instruct your players in a specific way to play, but understand that you've still got to drive the car. The analogy, you've got all the rules and regulations, but you've still got to make decisions on the fly.
Who's going to blink here? This is what I'm interested in.
Bobby Hill's on the move. Miller up, Pendlebury. Bobby's still on the move. Side bottom, good tackle. Did well to release in the end by hand. Keys hasn't been a massive factor so far. Quaynor and Walker. It was by Walker. Just saw a teammate, just handed it down to him. Phil Thorpe's in good position. Gets over the back though. House in support as always. He's got Billy with him. Nick Dacos clean. Messing around with a touch here, the Pies. Howe. Perryman. Now Josh Dacos. They continue to work it through the middle now. Pendlebury building off half-back the Pies. Back to Maynard. Oh, brilliantly done by Peatling coming the other way. Perryman nearly a fresh airing. Big ball in the MCG in the middle to be won. It goes away with the Crows. Keys couldn't get it away. And Collingwood in the end have it in the hands of Pendlebury. Now Allen, he's got Maynard ahead of the footy. Maynard's got the hard running Hoskin. Elliott leaves it behind. He'll still have the toe to get round O'Brien. And then Curvis. High up and under ball. Elliott will come from behind. Big fist away. McCreary taps it back. Quaynor. Little step. Quaynor. Rare foray forward to the square. Keane. And he just mumbles and stumbles and eventually takes it across the line nervously.
Well, the umpire didn't flinch. I mean, a couple of really big moments. Jeremy Howe, great tackle. Adelaide was through. You just see here, there's no real movement. The players are conceding the fact that it's going to be another long down the line kick.
I think they determined that they were within the required margin for him to walk that through.
He looked a touch nervous there, Big Keeney.
Very nervous.
Coming as well, just got a little toe poke on it. Now Peatling spirals the ball forward. Howe does well. He's had a great game, Jeremy Howe. Been involved in numerous one-on-ones and comes out the victor again. Frampton touch high.
This is one of the more labour-intensive games of footy that we've seen for a long, long time. It's 6 goals at the moment. There's 6 goals apiece, and it is hard work. You just got to hang in until someone maybe is prepared to be a bit more expansive, a bit more creative, but right now they're just prepared to slug it out, and this will help.
Ooh, 50. So they've had 2 set shot opportunities and missed them. One from Rankin, he gets a big 50 now.
Well, they didn't pay a 50 earlier in the piece. I think the difference with this is they went, if you motion to handball and to get the bloke on the mark off the line, they'll bring you back.
Are they on to Collingwood in this area? It's been It's been documented a little bit how they go back from the man on the mark. Umpires might be aware of that.
Gee, goals are like gold right now. So Isaac Rankin can't afford to fluff his line again.
2 big last term goals in the showdown from the talented Isaac Rankin. He's kicked one. And he missed one this term to a chorus of boos at the punt road end to give Adelaide the lead. And he again shanks it and shanks it badly. Throws his head back, misses the lot.
Same kick.
It's been extraordinary. There's been a point each kick in this quarter so far.
He had chances in front of the sticks. That's 3 set shots that have gone errant for Adelaide in the term alone. Dawson sends it back to give them another opportunity. Josh Dacos at the back. Maynard. As the 50 came, he was still looking to pass it off.
Yeah,
Rankin, he looked confident.
which is a surprise given what we think is one of the most skillful players in the game.
Crows pressing. Here he comes again. Rankin. Taylor. Phil Thorpe.
What are the chances of him kicking one of the absolute miracle goals now after those 2 misses? Hey, we've got Berry down here, guys, just about to come onto the ground for Adelaide. So we're about to make a sub for Adelaide. We're just finding out who it is.
Mr. Cam Moonley. And Pinsky the sub for Collingwood.
I wonder whether they're looking at those forwards, which pre-game they
got to be a tall, doesn't it, guys?
Tossed up, whether it was Taylor Walker. And I don't think that would be the worst result, to get some run through the middle of the ground and maybe give a bit more room to Fogarty and Thilthorpe, who've loomed as the most dangerous. But now we'll find out in a moment. It's just, as I said, hard work, labour intensive, in the forward half, see if they can make something happen here.
Had a big impact as the sub last week. Did Berry, Thilthorpe, Rochelle. They get it back to Saligo, snapping ball. This time the Crows make them pay.
Yeah, well, sometimes you've just got to hang in there and give yourself an opportunity. We've been speaking about the labour-intensive way in which this quarter has been played. So you take ground, you give yourself a chance inside your forward 50, and then you've just got to take your opportunities when they come. On this occasion, it was Saligo that just held his outside balance.
They go down to Cam Mooney, they made their sub.
Yeah, it was a good call there, Gaz. It was Tex Walker that's coming off to be subbed off. And Nixie did speak about before the game that he was umming and ahhing whether he goes with the 3 talls or not. So like you said, it's a good call to do it.
It's a good decision. Now we'll see what happens. So Jeremy Howe, who's played a super game, goes to Josh Rochelle. So he's got to occupy Howe, not let him zone off and take intercept marks.
Yeah, they've gone small forward, haven't they? Fogarty and Dawson are the 2 talls. Dawson, the taller midfielder. It's a first stoppage goal for the game.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable game.
Berry straight into it. Rankin. McCreary attacking hard, coming the other direction and gets the free.
Unbelievable, in as much as that is the first score from a stoppage. It's just been stuck out here on the wing for most of the game, so we're not surprised, really.
McCreary from behind. Sends it deep forward. Membry jumps to the air. Falls to Elliott, doesn't need much space. Right to the teeth of goal. Crows managed to take care of it.
I do question how slow Collingwood are going, though. I still think they've got opportunities to go fast. Even with that free kick with McCreary, you can still go fast and be really safe with ball in hand.
Yeah, both sides have been uber conservative and ultra safe. So at some stage, maybe that'll open up some urgency. If they get 2 or 3 goals behind, generally does the trick.
Taylor, Berry, the sub. Gee, goes the full distance. Tackle rewarded.
The comment that Sam Mitchell made about Hawthorn last week, you're boring me. You're sort of ringing my ears at the moment with Collingwood.
You talking to me or
you?
Okay, I'll take that on board, Geordie. So it's in the hands of Jack Crisp. Sends it deep into the pocket.
Not sure what the record for boundary throw is. It's going to be up there. But Collingwood have got to take the attitude that Adelaide had. Got the territory now. Let's get to... Well, they've all been to work. They've been honest. Both sides have been really hard at it. Just got to make something happen now. Doesn't have to be pretty. Got to find a way.
Cameron front position in front of Phil Thorpe. And towards Saligo. Throws it out of defence. Fogarty, 3 in the second term. Big body on Hoskin Elliott.
So all players in a half of the ground. Jordan Dawson's having a spell forward, so he drags Great Maynard back. Jeremy Howe goes with him. Fogarty evens up. It's an arm wrestle. It is. That's why we're getting all these stoppages. That's your whole group right there, 36 of them.
Cameron just massaged down a Hoskin Elliott. Might have got one high.
Bit of a sloppy tackle, to be honest, by Darcy Cameron, so that's a let-off for Adelaide.
And there was nowhere for Sligo to go in that situation. He might have just dumped it straight out on the foot. No, just stays in play. Fogarty, nice one-hander.
Yeah, smaller forward line, so maybe they do want to go a little bit quicker, Adelaide.
Called to go. Steps around Maynard and forced to use the left. Low Pearcer inside 50 through the hands of Houston. Rankin. Berry just came on, run down behind. Great pressure long. Great pressure long.
Yeah, it's never giving up, is it? Can they now capitalise on that turnover? You see again wanting to slow it down. Even the hand action from Macquarie gives you a bit of an indication on how they want to play.
Number one pressure player on the ground, Long. What a season he's having. Off the ground, Membry. Cameron does well to keep it away momentarily from Miller. Sullivan. Again, the boundary carry.
So 11 around the ground stoppages in the first quarter, 16 in the second quarter, and this will be the 19th already for the third quarter.
You've been keeping tally.
Just got my pen out. Fastidiously, mate. There's not much else to do, really. 7 goals to 6.
We got the tight one, though, Gary.
We have, as we expected.
Through the contest in the ruck. Worrell up and under ball. Early fly from Dawson. Frampton. Footy spoiled away from him. Now Keys. And they're just set up beautifully behind the ball, Collingwood. Howes looks like he's on a training run. Now Houston has time to set up. Sends it to the top of the square. Meyer check. Cox. Here comes Membry. Well set up again, though, the Crows. Hinge and Rankin.
Yeah, Hinge has been very good. And that's right, chase.
Brilliant work, McCreary. If you run down Isaac Rankin, you've done some really good work.
Yeah, I think Curtin was the player that got in his row. Isaac Rankin was less than impressed, but it was Bo McCreary that completed the tackle. I mean, this is an important goal. They haven't had too many opportunities going inside their forward 50. You just see here.
Yeah, he did get away a bit, but Isaac made a bit of a meal of it too, to be honest. So, great reward for effort. Can he get reward on the scoreboard?
Crowd will tell you the story from the pocket. McCreary. Crowd does tell you the story.
It's hard work, Geordie. There's no easy goals to be got out there at the moment. You've got to chase down Isaac Rankin inside your own forward 50 to get a free kick, to get a shot at goal. That's earning your 6 points right there. So he did get in the way a little bit, Dan Curtin. He didn't know whether to move aside or to shepherd or whatever the case may be, but just a bit of a move from Isaac's point of view. Been impressed with Bo McCreary. His numbers won't tell you much. But he's worked through the middle of the ground's been really, really competitive, and that there is worth its weight in gold again on a day where it's 7 goals apiece deep into the third quarter.
The 4 tackles by McQuarrie. Then Long's had the 9. 5 inside 50s, 1 goal. It's a big moment.
Dawson. Sligo. Quaynor overruns it. Rankin. Neil Bullen. Peatling thought about going off the ground. Dawson, dangerous from range. Hooks it.
A spell forward, Jordan Dawson, for about 5 minutes. He didn't get too involved. The ball wasn't down there that much, but now he's back through the middle of the ground.
Got a spare down the line in Bobby Hill if they can go. Just watch the back of the contest.
No more than 2 goals in it all day. Collingwood 7 at quarter time, 5 at half time. Got that 5-point lead. Bobby Hill just trying to put it out in front of himself. Can Longy get back to Bobby? Goes off the ground. Dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, leg was good. Worrell round the corner. Into the chest of Nick.
can see the work being done in the forward line. Cox, my check coming together, trying to create a little bit of separation.
Cox at the back of the pack, bounces off his large frame. Oh, gee whiz, whoa, just cannon into. Good pressure from Bobby Hill.
Free kick.
It is.
Deliberate.
Wasn't that a set-up handball a while? Jeez. Oh, for a tough kick. Bang, great tackle. He's got it in him, though.
Yeah, well, this is a bit typical of the game, as we said. There's nothing easy. So if you want to kick a goal, you're going to have to do something that's out of the ordinary a little bit. We've seen one from McCreary. Tim Membry slot this.
Kick one in the first term did Tim, and that will not add to the tally or the score.
This is where they need to give themselves another chance, Collingwood. And can they be really stingy in defence, get a front half turnover, give their forwards another opportunity?
Cameron always in good position as soon as that ball is kicked. And 50, and these are big moments in this match.
Even if you think it's touch, you see there, Fogarty, you've still got to play to the whistle. It's a big let-off.
I know we've been calling for a bit more expansive footy and whether the game will crack open. Collingwood have conceded in this quarter with all those stoppages. They're 12-4 down in clearances, and it just hasn't hurt them. So they're happy. They're happy to play this style of footy right now and wait for something to happen. Wait for a mistake maybe as Fogarty comes in and knocks the ball out of his hand. But now you've got to take the opportunity. Adelaide had theirs early in the piece. They weren't able to take what was offered to them. Darcy Cameron would love to slot this.
One game for the Sydney Swans, 104 for Collingwood. 2 goals for the season for the big ruckman. Wanders in, pumps it home. Collingwood just stretch a little now, deep in the third.
You know, it's an important goal on the eve of three-quarter time. So you're talking about momentum, energy coming in. Once again, you just play to the whistle, so it's a let-off. It's a front half turnover. They've been really hard to get at the moment with the way that both sides are moving the ball really conservatively. But a 50-metre penalty lets them off.
That's a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
That is a horrible mistake. When you can't find it, when both sides can hardly find a goal, and you've got a mark that's been taken 60 metres out, and you whack the ball out of their hand. I know Darcy Forreby has had some moments. 2 minutes before three-quarter time as well. 8 goals from turnover now for the Adelaide, for the Collingwood Footy Club. You'd be happy with that, Craig McRae.
Game high, 11-point margin. Collingwood pressing, and the Crows respond. Curtin attempting to do that. High ball. Rochelli's got a bit of space. Howe wanders into that space.
It's been super. You called it, Howie. Your namesake has been super today. He's had Tex Walker sent to the bench and sent to the subs vest, and now he'll just take whoever comes to him. If it's Josh Rochelli in the twilight of his career, stride for stride with him the whole way.
Number 1 rated player on the ground, Jeremy Howe.
Not surprised.
Started off with 3 intercept marks in the first term. Peatling wanders through a little gap. Curtin again. And there he is, Jeremy Howe. Frampton just spikes it through.
We're just holding our breath here to see three-quarter time just around the corner. If the margin is right now 10 points, so it's still very much, game on. But if it opened up a little bit, then you might see Adelaide get a bit more creative. Who knows? The old arm wrestle. It's been interesting.
Yeah, they can't afford to concede a goal in the last minute 10, Adelaide.
Ball away from Cox. Perryman away from Taylor. Curtin provides the tackle.
This gives them another opportunity. So centre forward stoppage. This is where you need to be communicating with the ruckman. Riley O'Brien, you see there, Isaac Rankin. He's going to reset as a forward. But this is where you need to be coming through the stoppage, create a little bit of chaos.
O'Brien nearly got an arm over the shoulder of Cameron. Last gasp opportunity for the Crows, potentially, or even for Collingwood coming back the other way. Still plenty of time on the clock. Michael Annie under pressure. Scoops it out. Here comes Cox. Keeps it in front of himself. Big moments here for Adelaide. They need to stand up under pressure and do. Hinge. What's the throw? Heard the call throw from the umpire.
Yeah, right, so they need to flat back in defence, the Adelaide numbers. Bo McQuarrie, I think, was the recipient. Yep.
30 seconds on the clock, Geordie.
Stay alert. Cox making his way down there. Riley O'Brien.
Oh, gee. Looks like he's got a hand to it.
Yep.
Gary?
Absolutely.
Very, very unusual free kick, that. Very unusual.
I don't think the umpire had a great position either.
No.
Clearly a handball from that angle.
He can kick a ball, baby, really. Oh, the umpire's decided he can't go the journey.
Wallace at top of the square. Dangerous area! Enter Jamie Elliott!
There's a couple of parts to this. Jamie Elliott's ability to anticipate has all of those Adelaide Crow defenders there embarrassed. So he responded well. But the umpire made up his mind that Bro McCreary wasn't capable, so he just called play on. He tumbled the punt, and Jamie Elliott had all worked out okay for the Pies.
Gee, this is a big blow after the siren to make it 3 in a row for Collingwood to finish the term. Much loved number 5 for Collingwood. Rolls it home. 3 in a row to finish the term for the Pies. They're out to a game-high 16-point margin. Adelaide have not beaten Collingwood at this venue since back in 2014. Collingwood got the nice lead. There's a bit of chat between the two sides as well.
Found their tongues all of a sudden, the Collingwood boys, and it's directed at Mark Keane too.
So Collingwood wander off with a 16-point margin here at three-quarter time. Still a bit of byplay between the two sides. But at the moment, Collingwood are up on the board by 16 points.
Well, folks, have a look at this. It's the Magpies. They got the last 3 goals of the game. I tell you what, there were some interesting umpire decisions there. Oh, I tell you, let me tell you about a couple of them. Well, there we go. First off, it was Adelaide. They just walked it over the behind line. Should have been a free kick. Should have been a goal to the Pies. It went back down the other end. It should have been dropping the ball by Adelaide in their goal square, but it wasn't. Adelaide got a goal from that. And then, of course, the other one, well, that last, the last passage of play, the Adelaide Crows actually got a handball on it. Umpire called holding the ball. Thought McCreary couldn't go the distance, called play on, put a wobbly kick up there. Elliott took the mark, got a goal out of that. And, of course, the other one. I tell you what, there was a couple of funny decisions in that quarter. The umpire had been pretty reasonable, I thought, up until that third quarter. Wowee. There we go, though. I tell you what, it's the Magpies by 16 points. It's going to be tough for the Crows to come back here. But don't be surprised, anything can happen. She's still a little bit slippery, wet ball out there. Of course, we had the rain there at half time. Come down pretty heavy rain there at the MCG. But it looks like the rain has stopped, but it's very dewy and slippery out there. But the Magpies putting on late goals in that third term. 3 goals, 2 in that third term to the Magpies, to the Adelaide Crows. 1 goal, 3. Of course, the Crows, shanked a couple of kicks, which would have been normally pretty soft goals for them, but they missed them. So both teams getting plenty of opportunities out there today. So it's going to be a fantastic final quarter. It's going to be exciting. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. There's only one multiple goal scorer on the ground today, folks, and that's caused Darcy Fogarty, who looked good really early. He was a little bit shut down in that third term, but can be dangerous. He's got 3 for the Crows. Taylor Walker, just the 1. I'll tell you what, he could come into the game if things go his way. And, of course, Phil Thorpe hasn't put a goal on the board for Adelaide yet, so still some dangerous targets down there for Adelaide. Taylor Walker with 1, Saligo, Ranky, Rochelle, all singles for Adelaide. For the Magpies, it's still side bottom, Membry, Bo McCreary, Dan Houston, Will Hoskin Elliott, Bobby Hill, Jamie Elliott, Jack Crisp. They're sharing it around for the goals at the Magpies. There's your goal scorers. Tiva Coles, don't worry, the Crows will come back. I tell you what, it's always good to have a close game. As I was saying, I think the last 4 games these teams have played, it's all been within 8 points. So we expect the Crows to come back a little bit. You never know. You never know. It's still anybody's game, but the poll, our voting poll does still say Collingwood 76%. If you haven't voted, vote now while you still got the chance, folks. Nick Dacos now lifts his game. He's up to 24 possessions with Josh Dacos. The Dacos brothers on top with 24. Most disposal getters out on the ground. Nick's had 6 clearances. Jordan Dawson continues to head the table for the Crows on 23 possessions, 3 clearances. Rory Laird next best on 21. Isaac Ranke 19. Ranke actually looks pretty good out there. He looks reasonably dangerous when he gets the ball. Tell you what, it's hard in these slippery, wet conditions. Let me just roll down the board while I'm chit-chatting to everybody. Thanks, everyone, for coming in, for the 52 people in. Hey, don't forget, folks, if you like the footy, if you're a Collingwood supporter, Adelaide Crows supporter, or if you're an AFL football lover, hit that thumbs up for me. We appreciate a like on the coverage. There we go. Jamie Elliott just scored his first goal for the afternoon with 12 touches, 8 kicks. 1 goal, 1. Riley Thilthorpe, as I said, he hasn't come into the game much. Fogarty's been the target down there. The 10 touches, 7 kicks, 4 clearances for Thilthorpe. Not to hit the a major yet. All right, who else have we got down there? As I said, Darcy Fogarty, 3 goals for the Crows, 7 kicks. Quiet in that term. Dan Houston up to 10. Membry on 8 with 1 goal. Let's roll down. Bobby Hill looking for a good last quarter from him. He's just had the 6 touches, 6 kicks. He's kicked 1. Same with Tex Walker. Tex Taylor Walker, just the 5 touches, 3 kicks, 1 goal for Taylor. All right, let me put that back. Hey, folks, that's enough of me chit-chatting. Let's get back down to the ground. Or it's the Magpies by 16 points.
Tough, wet conditions. Pendlebury's in the middle alongside Berry.
You speak about sides taking risks. I think it's nearly right now for Adelaide. So if Collingwood want to play the slow, let down the line game, especially wide, it's a chance for Adelaide to start to move the ball off the line, involve handball receives and take some risks.
Taylor Walker is subbed out, Berry in. Lipinski is the unused sub so far for the Pies. McCreary overruns it. Laird, hands and knees. Big clearance to be won. Soligo to the open spaces. Thilthorpe tracks it.
Yeah, good pick up.
Pretty clean. That pass gets away from Cumming though. Hoskin Elliott also good.
They look down into this Adelaide forward line. So Fogarty has got Howe, so that's the matchup. But Rankin is the man, isn't he, that we all turn to. He did it last week, kicked the first 2 goals to get the momentum back going Adelaide's way. Isaac Quainer, he's got the biggest job maybe for Collingwood to determine that they hold on to this 16-point lead.
Berry. O'Brien off the ground, chases after it. There is Rankin. Clever hand pass. Inside 50 ball. Howe again, front position, does well. Josh Dacos runs away from his opposing number 7, then an up and under. Quaynor stands underneath it, falls to his opponent, Rankin. Shelley tries to get through. There is Rankin from the pocket, and he's 3rd out of bounds on the 4th.
He's going to keep asking the question. I'm not sure whether you'd worry about him too much up around the middle of the ground right now. When you've only kicked for the game, when you've only managed 7 goals, you're going to have to find at least 3, probably 4, maybe 5.
Howe, outstanding all day. The man from Dodgers Ferry and Tassie.
I think the important part, so we've spoken about the way that Collingwood moved the ball, the important part for Adelaide to control for those long kick down the line is the back area. If Collingwood can access that back area, that is the danger zone.
Rain still falling at the MCG. Inside 50, Rankin. Thilthorpe, here is Rankin again. Hand passes just to clear the area as best he can. Maynard, high up and under ball, not the required distance. Follows up with a fist. Hoskin Elliott, clean. Bangs it forward. Keane tracks back, needs to be clean. Elliott runs into him. Here comes Meyer. Check. Threw his head down. Umpire said, play on. Led with his head.
Go on there. Charge in, hoping to break through or not. And Rory Laird stands up. Magpies have been superb. They've manufactured this kind of game and they're prepared just to put their head down and fight their way through until it gets too much for the Crows. The Crows are the ones that have got to get the answers here.
And the clean hands of Phil Thorpe.
Fogarty out the back.
Sends it to Fogarty. Tries to work Cox underneath it. And Josh Dacos was aware and just marked on his chest.
He did well, Mason Cox.
Just controls space really well. You spoke about how before when Josh Dacos got the ball, he runs away from traffic to give himself time and space and the ability to make decisions.
Houston's got a hard-running Jamie Elliott.
This is where they slow it down.
This is in their wheelhouse, Geordie. How many times have we seen this from Collingwood?
Kick favours Membry. Sullivan, rolling ball, won't quite get there in the end from Lockie Sullivan. Trouble arrives though. Hoskin Elliott in the square for a long time. Free kick paid.
This is what you admire about them, is the way that they can adapt their game and they've got it right where they want it. Arm wrestle, 16-point margin. Last quarter, they've been last quarter specialists for a long time. And this is nothing pretty. It took one great kick, first of all a mark, and then a great kick to Jamie Elliott up on centre wing. And from that point on, the Crows are in a bit of trouble.
Hoskin Elliott for goal. 1-9-1. Last four of the match for Collingwood. They extend the 2-point margin. Let's have a look at the Bunnings build-up with Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, what we spoke about when Jamie Elliott marked the ball, that it was going to be a little bit slower, but he saw something that he liked. It was the wrong kick initially. I mean, this is a big free kick to pay. I think he's really unlucky in an important part of the game. I don't think that is a free kick whatsoever. So, but he gets the ball. Hoskin Elliott is able to go back and kick the ball, making a 22-point margin. But I think he's stiff.
I'm paying the free kick, Geordie.
Paying that free kick.
Yeah, I'm paying the free kick.
On what basis?
I thought he had a chance and tried to change direction and he just dropped the ball.
Jeez.
Harsh but fair. And now they've got no choice, the Crows. Now they've got to take the game on big time.
O'Brien ripped away from him by Long. Stands up in the tackle. Millerer. Hinge had a good afternoon. Back through the corridor. O'Brien tries to step through. The hand pass option was there. He didn't take it.
Sorry, yeah.
Hinge caught the end. Somehow they send it forward. Fogarty kicked 3 in the second term. Here comes Neil Bullen. A little bit of space. He hand passes it straight across the line.
Had time, didn't he, Neil Bullen? But I think you're right. I think if you talk about their midfield mix, we've spoken about Rankin being deep forward. Rochelle's on the bench at the moment, but get Rankin around the ball. Need a little bit of magic, a little bit of speed.
Need 2 Rankins.
Yeah.
There's the one Rankin that's out there.
Where's the other one?
Taylor. Neil Bullen, centering ball. Phil Thorpe, good position. And again, Collingwood have got the answers.
Yeah, so the stoppage game doesn't worry Collingwood, even though they're getting smashed in clearance 20-5 after half time, but they're not getting scored against, so they don't care. They're happy to keep boundary throwing, stoppage, go to work, close it down, slowly work it forward, take their chance when it opens up.
Rain picks up again here at the MCG. Membry hands to it, coming, trapped in a little pocket. Saligo. Hinge. Pendlebury.
Good decision.
Gets the free.
Yeah, good decision by Pendlebury to come forward. If Adelaide want to try and handball chain through this Collingwood defence, I think they'll find themselves come unstuck. Collingwood make really good decisions coming forward.
And they haven't been clean enough, Geordie. Yeah. So now they expect to go into a handball chain run and gun style of game just by the flick of a switch. It doesn't look like they've been anywhere near clean enough.
Hoskin Elliott squares it up.
This is where the likes of Dacos boys, Pendlebury, side bottom, they just control the game so well. They get an opposition to a side like a margin like this.
Maynard sends it really deep, right to the top of the square.
Protect the area, let's go, Jamie, out, thank you. We'll watch on where this kick might go. I'd love him not to go wide, but it seems like they will. You'd love him to take a little bit more of a risk down the middle.
Slightly more central.
Yeah.
Phil Thorpe, front position. Maynard whips it out to Quaynor. Rankin nearly took it over his head, comes back a second time.
It is still predictable though, isn't it? Like it is going down the line where Darcy Cameron is as good as anyone down the line. Frampton just works hard against him, gets him up under the footy.
Well, we saw the set play last night. Like something like that would be perfect in a situation like this.
So if it keeps going along these lines, you're just confident if you're a Magpie supporter. So somehow they've got to crack it open now. Easier said than done.
Opportunity here for Peatling. Tries to put it out in front of Fogarty. Tracking it back is Frampton. Phil Thorpe got an important boot.
But look at the first bloke back. It's Isaac Quaynor is the one who works back hardest to provide support.
Strips it, sends it back to the wing.
She's pretty stationary ahead of the footy here now.
There's no corridor available.
Cameron back at the hole.
So Phil Thorpe have 2 to beat. Slapped away from Quaynor. Long. Peatling. Quaynor. Straight into Dawson. Rankin. Phil Thorpe.
Wasn't expecting it.
No.
Riley Phil Thorpe.
Collingwood about to make their sub down here, guys. Lipinski's just doing some warm-ups as we speak with Cox coming off.
Yeah, and that's a perfect time too, isn't it? So the rain continues to fall here. Fresh legs. He's one of the real hard runners.
Yeah, just watch O'Brien. Rankin just communicating with O'Brien. Longer hit. Couldn't get his hand on it. If they try a similar sort of hit, you don't want this ball to go into congestion. So the longer hits from Riley O'Brien, if he can get his hands on it.
Stays in close. Sullivan spirals it out. Keane, Myercheck.
This is what I was talking about earlier. So, oh no, they're giving us a lead. Hold on. Right. Let's have a look at there. Quaynor push and Rankin doesn't. That's the sort of support you need. I'll show you again. I didn't realise that was going to get out of bounds. But if they are going to get up and close this gap, then you've got to work hard. You can't allow Isaac Quaynor to push hard into defence and you not make that effort. Gives you a 2-on-1. Ball comes back out the other way.
Collingwood out to a game high 22-point margin. They've kicked the last 4 of the match. Won this term, the last 3 of the third. Bobby Hill. Berry. Comes out the side bottom. To a 1-on-1 on the wing. Elliott won it, then spilt it. It's another high one, Jamie Elliott. He's been in the wars. And 50. Another 50.
In the protected area.
So this is what is as beautiful as it has been tough to watch at times. This is what Collingwood do. They just play percentages and wait for the opposition to make a mistake. Like, so Elliott wins a big ball, which is good enough in itself, and then the mistake comes.
Jeez, he was almost past him there. That was a tough call.
Final goal of the third term for the number 5.
They get another chance here. Adelaide. You can see the Collingwood players really saturating the corridor. So they sort of predict that's where it's going to go.
Dawson, front position.
Yeah, Jeremy Howe's been the last defender though, so that's why they've got to go around.
Howe's still free on defensive 50. Just monitoring the progress of the Sharon. It's up to Soligo. Here's the important kick, and 50 back at the other end of the ground.
Yeah, Ed Allen, on that occasion, you just don't need your hands in that area. A clever player like Soligo will suck you in. Important goal, 12 minutes to go.
For a second for the match, Soligo. 50s at either end. And the margin is narrowed by the Crows.
Okay, so can you make the case? So they're 9 inside 50s to 3 in the last quarter, and that's their first goal. So finally they get a little bit of reward. Let's have a look at this. Put your hand in, you run the risk, I suppose. But anyway, Soligo did the right thing. He got down there quickly, kicked the goal, made sure there's time on the clock. So they've got a little bit of field position going their way at the moment. Clearance domination continues, 6-2 in this quarter. Little couple of things happening for the Crows here.
This is a big contest, I think, for Darcy Cameron. Late in the game last week, Riley O'Brien was able to really control the ruck work. So you look at someone like Dawson just swinging around on his left foot would be one that I'd be watching.
Dawson tapped it away from Nick Dacos. Crisp with the tackle. Soligo wombs it forward. Just something happening here for the Crows. Rochelle.
Yeah, again, inside 50, number 10 for the quarter. Now they're just starting to get a little bit of reward. They had to kick 4 goals before that first goal there to Soligo. Rochelle kicks this. You can't keep getting goals the same way from that if you keep playing the same way from the Crows. They've got urgency on the footy all of a sudden. Centre clearance helps. Get a one-on-one ahead of the footy.
Kick to goal in the first term. Rochelle, big kick this. Enormous kick for the Crows. From 35 out. He misses.
They've got to keep taking it on, and the Collingwood team have been so assured. You've got to put them into a state where they start to feel a bit of pressure.
Big opportunity goes begging.
And Dacos has been enormous, boys. He's had 10 intercepts. Jeremy Howe's had 13 intercepts, 23 intercepts between them in the back half.
Howe in possession now. Pendlebury's just come on the ground. He'll go front and centre. Perfectly positioned. Lipinski, the activated sub this term. Crisp, clean, Pendlebury. Trouble here in the hands of Pendlebury for the Crows. Just punches it forward. Danger!
Yeah, it was a good follow-up by Scott Pendlebury. Well worked in and around the contest. And not to panic. Take your full 10 to 15 metres. And a nice little weighted kick to Brody Mychek.
Four goals, 3 in that classic. And they went down to the Cats. Mychek to take it back out to 22 points. From 50 metres, the number 41 hits it absolutely superbly. Does Brody Mychek pumps the fist. And Collingwood look a good thing.
Clutch.
That's how you close out a game, isn't it?
Clutch.
Yeah.
You get one end, you got Rochelle, so he's got an opportunity to close that gap to 11 points. And as I said, the only way you get there is if you can make this Collingwood team feel uncomfortable and a bit of pressure. But they live in this space, Collingwood. They love living in this space. And their response invariably is exactly this. One of their great ball users, in this case Pendlebury, hits a target, go back, and from 53 metres on a wet, breezy day, just put it straight through the middle of the ground. Fantastic performance.
It's no surprise the active players in this fourth term. Pendlebury, Maynard's been involved. Josh Dacos.
And these two, don't forget, Maynard and Pendlebury, the leading possession winners on the ground, had a spell last week. So they're running on strong here.
Long.
Mychek was the other one that had a break.
Dumps it forward. And butts.
So they just haven't been able to move the ball, Adelaide, have they?
Credit the Magpies.
Yeah.
Make them go down the line.
Happens again. Long to space. Laird, new pressure was coming from Sullivan.
Look at this.
And they just set up, Gary.
That's it. This is their game. This is the Collingwood game. Just Darcy Cameron behind the footy and you kick it blindly straight to him.
So how do you evade it? How do you work around it, Gary?
Well, you've got to run and carry and share the ball, something that hasn't happened for them this game at all.
Lipinski, Collingwood looking for the knockout blow if it hasn't already been landed.
And in the process, be prepared to lose by 42. And right now, it just doesn't look to be in their psyche. There doesn't seem to be B, C or D, and you've got a pressure factor of 228. That makes it pretty hard. That's Collingwood, though, right there.
Brian missed a lot. Unusual effort. Cameron inside. Berry comes back, straight lines it. Now does he go through the middle? Nope, nothing on. Hooks it back out to the members' wing. Frampton takes it on. Lipinski, clean gather. Towards the flank. Miller keeps it in. Still they're forced to go down the line, and Quaynor standing on his own marks.
What it looks like is that Collingwood, Adelaide have come along and said, we'll try and play the same game as Collingwood here, and no one plays the game, this style of game, better than Collingwood. And then when it gets to this stage of the game where you need to open up and do something else, they remain stuck in that same sort of mode.
Captain Maynard. Deep ball, Bobby Hill flew, provided the protection.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hoskin Elliott takes the mark. He's not willing to give it back, but he's going to have to.
He knows that it's not his.
He got taken out of that marking contest by Bobby.
Hard to argue with that one. Now Dawson.
Can he do something different? He's looking to move it a bit differently.
Just got Rochelle on a good lead. A bit light on numbers inside 50, so he goes short, which was clever, because if he dumped it, they had the setup.
That's the sort of thing you're looking for. Different. Swing on the left boot, and mind you, it takes Jordan Dawson, one of the elite ball users and players in the comp, to go, no, I'll come inside. Rochelle, then it's a risky kick, but then he just whirls and goes and has to make it up on the run. And as a result of this, they get a shot.
To Fogarty, who's kicked 3. Fine exponent of the set shot, typically Darcy Fogarty. Fogarty's got 4, and Adelaide stay alive.
That's a template, Geordie, right there. If you could have an iPad out to every player, it'd show them. Just roll and go. Roll and go.
I don't know whether this sounds funny, but I think as a player, when you're out on the field and you look up towards the scoreboard and you see a 6 in front of your score, you think you're close. So now I think the energy from this particular side, we just see there, the kick inside forward 50, really clever, shallow, lower in the eyes. So I think you take great confidence in that if you're Adelaide. It's not a big margin, 16 points. That's why this centre bounce becomes really important. Cameron v. O'Brien, once again, watch Jordan Dawson.
Good job, Fogarty. He's kicked 4 goals in a low-scoring affair, 4 of 9. It's been really good.
67,697 in at the MCG. The game's still alive. Dacos, Saligo. Both looking towards the umpire.
Both sort of holding each other.
Peatling. Outside of the boot, players starting to find conditions tough. Been raining for an extended period now.
They didn't get the ball there, Nick Dacos, but great follow-up work. Contest to contest. Uses his speed, his smarts.
Miller at Saligo. We've called his name a lot this term. Up to 21 disposals. Free kick.
So once again, you've got to get speed on the ball. So handball receives, kick into the corridor. They've got a few extras inside the corridor if they can try and find one. Otherwise, you've got to go quick forward.
Josh Dacos has got the job on Rankin at the moment. And drive it down in that direction. O'Brien, big presence. Keys. Houston, here is Rankin. Clever hand pass forward. Rochelle. There was a man in the square with his hands up. That was Dawson.
Gee, missed opportunity there. Setup was great. The Rankin handball's another example of doing something that is completely different to what they've done for 3.5 quarters. Handball, forward handball, 15 metres, 10 metres forward.
Another opportunity goes begging for the Crows. Collingwood breathe again. Might come back in a hurry. Dawson sets himself. Here's a moment for the skipper.
Yeah, well, they've got 13-6 inside 50, so a little bit more than double the inside 50s of Collingwood. We've spoken about their chances.
Geordie, this is massive.
Yeah.
This is a huge kick right now.
5.5 minutes is a lot of time.
The Magpies are just playing the same way they have the whole time. All of a sudden, some different looks coming their way and they're feeling a bit of pressure.
Big moment in the match here. Dawson, the captain. It's swinging and he stands up the skipper. Back to a 2-goal margin, 10 points.
admirable for the Adelaide Crows. It's just whether or not the penny may have dropped a little bit too late. But all of a sudden, so the mark's taken on centre wing here, and the run from behind comes, and then Jordan Dawson, who's had a massive game, started in fine form. Pendlebury went to him and just cooled him a little bit, and he's having a big say again now. Game back on, back to the centre, critically important.
Yeah, the Collingwood defenders in that play just got caught watching the ball. Jordan Dawson's gone deep inside. He's out of the goal square on Jeremy Howe.
I like it. I like it.
A little bit more speed around the ball.
Had a big day.
Last 2 and 3 of the last 4, the way of the Crows. Rankin, clever. Tapped it back between his feet.
Oh, yeah, that was clever by there was a Perryman.
So now with 5 minutes, this is where they'll go into conservative. If they can run a bit of time off, they can. Adelaide have got to stay up. They've got to stay up, and if they get possession back, be prepared to go.
Last 4 decided by under a kick all the way of Collingwood. Wobbled forward.
That is one of the greatest. He's kicked a few months already today.
My check with a high entry inside 50. O'Brien's in A1 position. Now what's he do here, Riley?
He needs to find a ball user.
Oh, he goes back by hand. Now Hinge. Taylor.
Have not kicked one goal from an intercept this half, the Adelaide Crows. They're the #1 scoring team from intercepts in the competition.
I still think they don't need to force this. So there's 4 and a bit minutes on the clock, 10 points. So this is a classic example of you need to score next, not now.
Coming, hooks it towards the flank. Cameron nearly the mark. Keys, Dawson, who wins the footy. Could go the way of the Crows.
Rankin's ahead of the ball.
Peatling into the pocket. Here comes Rankin and Maynard, the skipper.
Well done. Craig Maynard came across because Steele Sidebottom had nominal responsibility for him, and Steele Sidebottom said, no, thank you, I'm not going with him.
So this particular part, if you're talking about Collingwood, you only really want one spare in line with the goal. The rest need to get a man and lock down hard.
With Dacos. Pendlebury. A very unusual fumble.
Good time and space, yeah.
Dacos boys work it out of it. Contest on the flank. Hinge. Clean. Up and under ball. Taylor will stand underneath it. Outside. Saligo had a good term. Houston. Nick Dacos. Only as far as Thilthorpe. Back to Saligo. Doesn't time it at all going forward. Pendlebury's been shoved by Rankin. Has to go back.
Massive shove. It's gone back the other way.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
This is Taylor.
We'll get with it in a moment.
That's extraordinary.
Taylor's got a big moment coming up, though.
Did that happen before Pendlebury got shoved, maybe? It's hard to see here. Let's have he's got a hold of his jumper.
Hold of the jumper.
Good decision. That was paid before the push.
Big moment for Taylor from on 50. Drives it right to the top of the square, falls to a dangerous area. Thilthorpe's there, Dacos rushes it through.
Clever, knowing the rules.
Well, been under pressure, the umpires, for a couple of weeks now. It's a good decision here. So Taylor, number 19, having his jumper held by Josh Dacos before the push came against Isaac Rankin. Good decision.
Adelaide pressing, they've kicked the last 2. Pies got out 22 points in this term. Berry looked for the free. Umpire wasn't interested. Well, one umpire wasn't. The second one was.
The umpire was further out of the area. So I think this kick's really important. So still, if there's something on in and around the yard to change the angle, you've got to take that.
Big Thilthorpe's deep.
You've got to reference the ruckman. Darcy Cameron's gone deep. Jeremy Howe's gone deep.
Will land 20 from home. Here comes Thilthorpe. Well done, Allen, because he was right in the path. Maynard bangs it as far as he can out of defence. Ball to be won. He goes to the speedster McCreary. He'll try and keep it in front of himself. Overruns it. Berry comes back. 2 minutes on the clock for the Crows. Advantage paid. An advantage taken to Thilthorpe. Big Riley winds it up. Drops it straight towards Cameron, if anyone.
Big Riley. That's
couldn't claim the mark in the end. Collingwood under pressure.
I think Cameron marked that footy, didn't he? That was a shocking decision by him in the end. He got away with one, Rolly, because he turned around and kicked it straight to the man who has been marking everything behind the footy.
We're on Rankin watch here. Rankin, he'll get on the move.
Here he is. Taps it to space. Michele overruns it. Lipinski immediately caught, lies on top of the football.
A little bit more space here, though. Sorry, guys. A little bit more space here for the forwards and mids to move around. More difficult to try and defend if you're Collingwood.
1 mark away from clinching this, Collingwood. They're 1 mark away.
Punch forward. Frampton. Can he find the 1 mark? Is it Hoskin Elliott? It's not. Comes to the ground. Hoskin Elliott to Jamie Elliott. Picked his pocket. Nicely done. Michael Annie, back to Millerer, little low slider, and there's the mark.
Well, they'll take a breath here. They'll go long down the line, get set up behind the footy.
Moves on reasonably quickly, Perryman. Up and under, down the line ball. Memory bursts clear. He's got no one ahead of him, Memory.
That's a kick.
Very clever back to the corridor, McCreary. Here come the Pies. Nick Dacos. Maynard, the captain. Chips it inside. That should be the game. Lipinski will take his time.
Magnificent. That is magnificent. I know from a highlights point of view, but they've had to absorb so much in their half. Absorb. And then when they get a chance, they make the right decisions. That's what separates good teams from bad. And Tim Memory running down the outside with all the noise and everything else. He looks ahead. There's nothing there. Squares the ball up where all the numbers are, and now they get a 30-second off the clock, take a shot, Magpies home.
Collingwood chant around the MCG. Lipinski, cream on the cake. Not quite.
There's lessons to be learned here for the Adelaide Crows, I think, especially. So they're going to go down by 10 points, and Collingwood are going to maintain their magnificent close game record, but there are some lessons to be learned.
Into the middle, the MCG. Back in the hands of Lipinski. Rankin tries to get away from a couple. Whistle. Collingwood, they continue their domination of the Adelaide Crows. Means a lot to that man, the skipper.
Now, Isaac Rankin's going to have a shot at goal. The only thing that this will do is bring it back under that 6-point margin, which we've been used to over the last month. The music's been put on hold. They thought it was over.
So he's got a 50. If he managed to kick it, it would just mean the last 5 times, Gary, they've been beaten by under a kick. Never heard the song stopped.
Look at the record.
Rankin for a big barrel. The crowd are continuing along. We've declared it once, we'll declare it again. Collingwood are home by 10 points. Over the top of the Crows. Cue the song for a second time.
He can't fight, he can't hit the play button again.
Trying to rewrite the record. Here we go.
Stand up when it counted, didn't they? Collingwood dealing with 19 inside 50s in that last quarter, so a good majority was spent defending. They had their chances, Adelaide, which they just didn't take. As we head down the north with the coach of the Collingwood Football Club.
Yeah, thanks very much, Louis. We'll fly. Talk about you just gave a bit nervous by the end?
Oh, not really. I think they're a quality team. And, tough conditions today. To get a job done today, and the scoreboard's probably reflected the game. It was really tight, and big sigh of relief. There's a lot going on.
Another close win. That's how you guys do it. How do you do it?
Oh, look, this one's a bit different. You sort of manage your lead, and then you know the Crows are going to come back, and we've had some ding-dong battles against them, haven't we? Buy your tickets next time we play them in Adelaide. That's a really important win.
A lot of talk about their forward line. We know we talk about their big guys, but today, and the weather permitting, I thought your back line just held up so well today, particularly Howe.
Yeah, Howe was amazing. And, Brozzy had to play a bit taller, and then the back 6, and then Darcy Cameron supporting the backs. And, we kept them to 68 points, and really, I know Kidis just helped that, but it's an important part, mate.
the move of Josh down back seems to be going quite nicely for you guys.
I thought Dan Houston had his best game for us for a number of weeks now. And, it's tricky conditions, but geez, Josh was really important, wasn't he?
What I love just just watching you go around, hug every person in the staff. It's a big family, this club, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's important to us. Everyone plays their part, and
we know, mate. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, it shouldn't be lost on us either that there's a really emotional Craig McRae there with the passing of Adam Selwood today. So Scott Selwood is the brother and he's part of Craig McRae's coaching team, and that would have been an enormously difficult day for the whole Collingwood Footy Club, given how close Scott is and how close he is with his football club and his relationship with the players as an assistant. So again, we share our thoughts, and it gives you an idea of just how difficult today must have been for all of them. So to get the job done is a credit to them. And the Adelaide Crows walk off the ground. As we said earlier, they will learn some lessons from today, Geordie. I thought they sort of jumped into the bun fight with a close quarter fight with the best close quarter fighting team in the comp. And in the end, they changed it up a bit late, but it might have been too late. Let's go back to Cam Mooney with Josh Dakins.
Well, Josh, we're just talking about Adelaide. They play this ground well. You guys play these tight games, so it's a very big win for you boys.
It is. Really hard-fought win. And we knew coming into the game they're a great kicking side, so on a big ground like the G, they can do some damage, and they showed that at times. They look so dangerous off turnover, and it was a great win by the boys.
This defence of yours, it just keeps holding up well, doesn't it? I mean, it was a tight game, and as usual, you guys just come through.
It is. We pride ourselves on our defence, and we know so much of our game comes off good defence. So Jeremy Howe was massive today, Billy Frampton. They had big assignments, and they came through, and from their great defence, we were able to play some good offence.
What about your role this year, playing down back? Obviously, you seem to be just absolutely relishing it down there, Josh.
It's awesome. I've loved playing with the backs. We've got great chemistry down there. We've added the likes of Dan Houston and Harry Perryman, so I'm having a ball playing with them, and they both bring so much to the team, and I think, like you said, we're just having a lot of fun down there and getting dangerous.
Go and enjoy, mate. You deserve it.
Thanks to Cam Mooney and Josh Dakos. We have a look at the ladder. It's such a reactive business. We're in Geordie. They were belted in the first game by the Giants in round 0. Too old, too slow. What's going to happen to Collingwood? Since then, they've dropped a classic to Geelong, and they sit on top of the AFL ladder at the moment.
Yeah, right, round 10, really comfortable position. So they would have learned, I think, a lot out of last year, and certainly, how to prepare their players across the pre-season. They didn't blink when all the criticism came in round 0, and they just force you to play the way that they want you to play. So we've spoken about the turnover game in Adelaide, where it was really strong. They didn't get any of that today. There's only one goal from stoppage for both teams. So, one goal, 0-4 for Collingwood and 1 goal 7 for Adelaide. So you talk about the conditions. You would think that all the scoring would have come from that particular part of the game, but it was an intercept game. It turned out to be that's where the scoring came from. Collingwood were able to manage that part of the game really well, as we see them going. So they're in great shape. They've been afforded the ability to rest players when they want to. They'll be able to do that in the back end of the season as well. And this is a side that is awfully hard to play against.
10 goals to 7 from a turnover point of view, but that second half, Adelaide didn't score a goal. Their best team from scoring from intercept in the competition. They didn't score a solitary goal in that second half. So that's how hard it is to get this ball through this Collingwood defence, Howie. So, it's a really good football club. I've said this many times over the last month or 2 months, probably a couple of years, to be perfectly honest, that they seem to have things in really good perspective, and on field and off field. And I think it's reflective on the field. When they get into these situations, there's great trust. There's empathy around the organisation for lots of different reasons, and they're all able to share the load. I think that's what's becoming really increasingly significant, that this is not relying on Nick Dakos, although it's great to have him, or Josh, or Pendlebury, or whoever. This is a team that bats really, really deep, and it's a full club effort. week in, week out. That's hard to beat.
Beautifully put, Gary. Collingwood take on North, Hawthorn and Melbourne. Adelaide, West Coast, Sydney and Brisbane. So Collingwood, top of the ladder, 8-2. Their 8th win of the season by 10 points over the Adelaide Crows, led by that man today, Braden Maynard. Straight in, according to the big ruckman, straight into the meeting with the coach. So Fogarty kicks 4 for the losers. Saligo kicked a couple. For Collingwood, Josh Dacos 29, his brother 28. Maynard as the stand-in skipper 24. And the champion Pendlebury 22. Dawson was outstanding with 27 alongside Laird, Rankin, and a couple of goals to Saligo as well. Sees Collingwood in their 8th win of the season. They currently sit on top of the AFL ladder. And that is a 10th straight win for Collingwood over the Adelaide Crows. It was Collingwood by 7 at quarter time, 5 at half time, 16 at three-quarter time. They got out to 22 points. Adelaide kicked 3 of the last 4 for a 10-point win. Adelaide take on West Coast Eagles at home next week. Gary and Geordie.
Yes, thanks, Howie. Not disgraced. They got Adelaide, as you say, Sydney, Brisbane and Hawthorn. It was an arm wrestle of monumental proportions. They've come to the big ground and played the big club, and they haven't got the victory. They've fallen short by 10 points. But as we said, particularly during that last quarter, Geordie, I think there'll be a lot to learn out of this afternoon. They got into a scrap with the best scrappers. I don't know whether you can just stand toe-to-toe and scrap with Collingwood. I think you've got to have a bit more to your game plan. They added a bit more in the last quarter, and that's when they started to look dangerous.
I mean, that's the challenge that faces, I think, the whole competition. They're the number one defence in the competition for a reason. They force you to play a different game style. Now, I know the conditions sort of lent to that a little bit. It was really hard to move the ball, being it a little bit dewy, but this is a side that strangles you, and they're happy to play that game for 4 quarters if you want to. They had their chances, guys. I think that would sit in their stomach. They came to the MCG, had their chances, but just couldn't capitalise in front of goal.
Yeah, and a couple of things didn't work. So Taylor Walker had his hands full. He had a couple of moments, Texan. It's certainly not his fault. But when you got him and Thilthorpe, and you got Fogarty, who was outstanding with 4 goals, and he came off the ground in the end, the Texan, and Berry came on as the sub. So, they still fiddle around with that. We're only, not even halfway through the season. It's a long, long season for the likes of Taylor Walker, who's in the twilight of his career. So they'll have to manage him, I think, between now and finals if they're able to get there.
Yeah.
I still like the side. I still think they're a really talented footy side, but I still think they've got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's an out-and-out champion of the game, Taylor Walker, but we heard pre-game that was the question that they were weighing up, so I wonder upon review whether they made the right call. It certainly looked like they were a little bit more dangerous when they went a smaller forward line with Rankin and Rochelle and Dawson there at times. So, you live and you learn. You come to the MCG, you come within 10 points of the hottest side in the competition, or one of the hottest sides in the competition at the moment, with a lot to learn.
Yeah, and so from a Collingwood point of view, who've gone into a meeting and as we can understand, it's been a really emotional day for that football club. So they've gone behind closed doors, and I think they just should be enormously proud. This is a team who won a premiership in 2023 that missed finals completely last year. Surprised the most, but that's been the trend in recent times. Clubs have won premierships and not been able to back it up. Brisbane are bucking that trend this year, of course. But they've come back hard, and on the back of that first round loss to the GWS Giants, to find themselves on top of the ladder after 10 rounds of footy, I can't be giving them higher praise or admiration. I think it's a really good football club right now that is embracing of everyone. That's the whole families and friends and partners that are waiting for them, who are the team currently locked away with Craig McRae behind closed doors. But I reckon what's been said behind is just all positive. It's reinforcing how big a family they are, how they're going to wrap their arms around Scotty Selwood and the whole Selwood family. I'd imagine that's a big part of the messaging.
Yeah, so the players sheltered the club sheltered the players from the news this morning. So We understand that the players don't know yet, so this will be the first time that they are informed.
Yeah, that's really raw, isn't it? We don't know, and we don't even need to speculate. All we do know is that it's been a tragic day for the football world, and this Collingwood Footy Club are really closely to it with Scott Selwood, the brother of
Adam and Troy.
And Joel, you're right. And so and I think of all the clubs around, these are as good a club as anyone to deal with that. So we pass on our heartfelt sympathies again to the Selwood family, and the game goes on, of course, so they understand that. And today it's gone on here at the MCG to the point that the Collingwood Footy Club have found themselves on top of the AFL ladder after a fantastic victory over the Adelaide Crows by 10 points. So we sit back now, and we're getting around to those the buys, time off. They get
in a
the
healthy
time
position.
They're in really good shape. So it's been a big day here at the MCG, but footy continues on Fox Footy Super Saturday at Port Adelaide, taking on the Geelong Footy Club. The Geelong Footy Club obviously will also be heavily affected by this, but Paddy Dangerfield leading the boys out. That's a nice jumper right there. I don't mind that one at all. It's got a little bit of Western Bulldog feel about it, but they've done a great job with the jumpers and the boots for Doug Nichols round, which continues tonight. So well done the Pies here at the MCG. It's Port Adelaide up against Geelong at Adelaide Oval.
All right, folks, there we go. The mighty Magpies, they did it. 11-12, 78 defeated Adelaide, I should say. The Adelaide Crows 10-8, 68. The Magpies putting on 2 goals, 3 in that final term. Adelaide 3 goals, 3. Tell you what, it did look like Adelaide were coming at one stage, putting on a couple of goals there. But the Magpies, they just stemmed the tide. They did what they had to do. Just their process, their setup, the professionalism. They get the games done, and they know how to win those tight games. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic by the Pies. And, of course, that puts them back on top of the ladder. We'll have a look at the ladder in just a moment. Hey, by the way, folks, if you want to listen to the next game, Port Adelaide taking on the Geelong Cats. I put the link in, pinned the link, and, of course, you'll be able to hear that over on Tina's channel at Game Board. So if you want to follow on that game, the next game, Port Adelaide Geelong, head on over there in just a moment. She'll be live with that game not too far away. Just waiting to hear back from Tina there. Should be a classic game. Hey, let's run through some of the stats here. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. Tell you what a great game on a wet day down here in Melbourne, about 11 degrees. Darcy Fogarty ended up top of the table on the goal scorers. 4 goals he kicked for Adelaide Crows. Jake Saligo with 2. Taylor Walker just with a 1. He was quiet after quarter time. Isaac Ranke, Josh Rochelle. He missed a few. Rochelle, holy moly. There we go. Jordan Dawson, single goal scorers. For the Magpies, of course, Will Hoskin-Elliott, the only multiple goal scorer. Everyone else shared it. He kicked 2. Still side bottom, Brody Myercheck. Tim Membry, Beau McCreary, Dan Houston, Bobby Hill, Jamie Elliott, Jack Crisp, Darcy Cameron. All singles. I tell you what, there's a lot of goal scorers out on the ground there for the Pies. Well, the leading disposal getter, you're asking yourself, well, it's Josh Dacos. Josh Dacos. No one hit the 30 today. It was 29 disposals for Josh, 14 kicks, 15 handballs with a clearance. Nick Dacos, the brother, he was next best. 28 for Nick Dacos today, 11 kicks, 17 handballs, 7 clearances. Of course, for Adelaide Crows, their main contenders were Rory Laird and Jordan Dawson, both with 27 apiece. Jordan Dawson having a great game there, kicking 1 goal, 3 clearances. Isaac Ranke, he was pretty good also, don't worry about that. 26 touches, 4 clearances and a goal. I liked his game. Braden Maynard, fantastic today. 24 touches for him. Still side bottom, 22. Scotty Pendlebury, 22. Let's just roll on down. Wayne Malera, 17 there for the Adelaide Crows. Riley Thilthorpe held goalless today. Brampton, I think it was Brampton on him, did a great job. 16 touches he had though. 11 kicks, 4 clearances. Just kicking the one behind. Maynard is an absolute legend. There's no doubt he will re-sign with the Magpies. He won't want to leave with his mates in a team like this where he's a big chance to, take a premiership out, maybe go back to back. You just never know. The Pies are going that well at the moment. Josh Rochelle with the 14 touches, as I said. Billy Frampton, good game from him with 14. Jamie Elliott, he was I tell you what, he copped a couple of knocks, but pretty good from him. 14 touches, 1 goal, 2. There we go. Let's roll on down. Bo McKerry, just the 12 touches. And a couple of the big guys were a little bit scoreless there for the Crows, as I said. Thilthorpe and Taylor just with the 1. Taylor went missing after the first quarter. I don't know what happened to him. What was I up to? I was up to someone. Tim Membry, 10 touches, 1 goal for the Pies. Hoskin Elliott, 11 touches, 2 goals. Darcy Fogarty, he was good down forward for the Crows, 11 touches, 4 goals for him. Of course, we see down there, Taylor Tex Walker. There he is, just the 5 touches. Wowee, 1 goal. Lipinski came on late, subbed in for the Magpies. Put a bit of fresh legs, 5 touches in that final term for him. 3 goals, 2. Team stats, not much in it there, was there? Just a 15 plus to the Pies. Adelaide had more kicks. They had 9 more kicks. 24 less handballs. Inside 50s, both teams getting plenty of opportunity. Never been a fan of Mason Cox. Cox goes all right occasionally when he's on. You know, he didn't really do too much today. I think he's definitely better in the dry weather, Mason Cox. The big man, 47 inside 50s for the Magpies, 23 scoring shots, 55 inside 50s for Adelaide's 18 scoring shots. So both teams getting plenty of chances. Disposal efficiency around the ground, 69, pretty much both sides. Actually, it probably wasn't too bad considering that there was a slippery ball out there. There we go. All right, free kicks, umpires love the 20-22 plus 2 to the Crows. I tell you what, there were some interesting umpire decisions out there today, and I'm sure that'll be certainly addressed with the umpires' review as it stands. Stoppages, hit-outs, Adelaide on top there, plus 14. Clearances, Adelaide got on top. The Magpies were on top at half-time. Adelaide got on top, plus 10 in the clearances. Definitely a better second half from them. Plus 3 in centre clearances, plus 7 in stoppage clearances. So that not too bad. Ciao for now, Paul. Hey, Paul, if you want to listen to the next game, Port Adelaide Geelong, I'm pretty sure Tina is going to do that over on Gameboard channel. Contested possessions, there we go. It was only plus 2 to the Magpies. Uncontested, plus 23. All pretty close there. Turnover, as we stated early, folks, it was going to be a high turnover game due to the weather. 74-89, she was pretty high. Marks reasonably good, although a little bit down, of course, because of the slippery conditions. It was plus 3 to the Crows, plus 2 to the Magpies inside 50 marks. Well done to them. Contested marks, Adelaide a little bit stronger. Tackles, 58-53, lifted in the second half from both teams. Of course, tackles inside 50, reasonably good. Let me see if I can update. There we go. Is that updated? That has updated. There is your live ladder. There is your live ladder now, folks. Yep, there's the live ladder. Collingwood back on top of the AFL Premiership season of 25. Collingwood now played 10-8 wins, 2 losses, 129.4%, 32. They're a half a game clear now of Brisbane Lions, who will play, I think they play tomorrow, so that'll be interesting. Of course, Geelong playing Port Adelaide now. There we go. That's the live ladder for Geelong and Port Adelaide. Are these strange names? I tell you what, strange names. There we go. So Adelaide, with that loss today, still remain in 5th position after playing 10 with 6 wins, 4 losses. 24 points, 2 games off top now. 124.7%, but fantastic. Great news for the Magpies supporters out there. You're back on top of the AFL ladder, which is fantastic to see. All right, there we go. I'm just checking over there. We're going to have a little bit of a look. Where is Game Board? Oh, looks like Game Board might not be doing that game after all. She's doing the basketball. There we go. If you want to listen to some basketball, some South Korea basketball, Game Board's playing that there. She might even put up the football there. Hopefully she does the football. Everyone can get over there and listen to the footy. All right, folks. Hey, well done to everyone in the chat. 78% went for Collingwood today. Well done, everyone. Of course, thank you so much to my super chatter for this afternoon, Ryan Avery, Rogue One. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the super chat there. I always appreciate it. Keeps the channel rocking and rolling. Don't forget, folks, if you liked it, hit the like on the way out. I appreciate the thumbs up. Appreciate that. But my next game, folks, to be covering will be on Sunday. I can't cover any more this afternoon. I think that game the next one I'll be covering on Sunday is Richmond taking on North Melbourne at the MCG, 1:10 p.m. Melbourne time. That's going to be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. Both teams low on the ladder, but both teams starting to perform well. So it should be a great game. Oh, I tell you what, look at that. What a close game, folks. What a close game. You see the worm here up and down. She was close. Of course, this line right here, that is where it's all square. So the margin never really got out until that final quarter. Collingwood got out to about 22 points it was. Of course, Adelaide kicking a couple of goals, started to put the pressure on at the 22-minute mark. They got back to within that 10-point margin. But Collingwood, as we know, what they can do, they can sort of shut games down. They are so versatile and so well versed in those close games. They do it really, really well. I think a lot of other teams sort of try to pattern the way Collingwood does it. So they really do know how to win the tight games. But what a fantastic game this afternoon. Whew, with the Magpies, 11-12-78 defeating Adelaide, 10-8-68. It was the Magpies by 10 points. You got to love football, eh? You got to love footy. Paul's a happy fan, Collingwood fan. Good stuff. Thanks, Sheila May, for coming in. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan, again. Bible Astronomy, time for prophecy. The Pies are hot. They certainly are. Catherine, thanks for dropping on in. Jared, yes, going for the Pies. Good stuff. Well done. And everyone else. Chinchilla Fires, go Pies, you good thing. Well done. Adrian Sport Channel. We all know Collingwood's his second favourite team. Tiva Coles, you all right? Yeah, the Crows came back a bit. Heavens, thanks for dropping on in. TJ Gaming. Yeah, it was a shame about Lockie Schultz last week. He would have loved this game today. This type of weather, this type of game, he would have relished absolutely 100%. But hopefully we'll see him back either next week or the week after. Next week's games for both of these teams, folks. Let me just check these out. Next week, Adelaide Crows. Well, it should be a little bit easier assignment for the Adelaide Crows. Next Sunday, of course, they play at home at Adelaide Oval. They'll be taking on the West Coast Eagles next Sunday. That's the Adelaide Crows' next game. And for Collingwood, they play next Saturday at Marvel Stadium. It's a night match. And, of course, Collingwood will come up against North Melbourne next Saturday evening. They are the teams that these two teams will be playing next week. So Collingwood taking on North Melbourne next week. And Adelaide Crows will be taking on the might of the West Coast Eagles. Should be fascinating, interesting game. I'd expect Collingwood and Adelaide both to win their games next week and continue on the fine form that they've shown so far this season. It should be a great week. All right, folks, don't forget... enjoy your footy, love your footy, and head on over now, folks, to, let me just drop the link. If you want to listen to Port Adelaide, here we go, Port Adelaide versus Geelong. Over at Game Board. Head on over there now, folks. Port Adelaide versus Geelong. It's on now. You can listen to that game now. That's live on Game Board's channel, my good friend Tina's. So there is the link there. Head on over there and listen to that game over there. Show us some love. And she'll cover the rest of the games today, the AFL football action, because I won't be able to get any more games done today. My next game, as I said, will be tomorrow with the really fascinating game, Richmond, North Melbourne. All right, folks, thanks everyone for coming on in. Really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. But that's me, over and out. Don't forget, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. Hit the link and you'll head on over to Gameboard's channel where you'll be able to listen to that live over there. All right, folks, until next time, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.